Mission Friday. With your song,
Episode
Harrison.
14 with special guest
15.
Mr. Joshua.
Oh, come on, that's anticlimactic.
14 and a half, 9 and 3/4.
I'm going to go all Daniel Madison on us and say episode 15. There we go.
Awesome. Okay. So that was a bit anticlimactic. Let me try that again. So, guys, episode 15 of Magician Friday. How's everyone doing? Now I'm getting tripped up on my own words. Episode 15
Good.
Magician Friday. We're here with an amazing guest. Awesome guy. We're here with Josh Norbido. Hello, Josh. How are you? How are you doing? Tell us how you've been, man. What you're up to.
Hey, Dan. I'm good. And thanks for having me on the stream. Hopefully there's a few Free Magic Live followers that are tuning in with us now as well. But I've been good. This time of year is very busy for my sort of, like, for magicians. You know, the second half of the year tends to be busiest, so I'm sure you guys are experiencing that as well. So I've just been enjoying the ride, going to events, and so I'm always trying to refine my work and whatnot and make videos for YouTube and things like that. So times have been busy, which is, in a magician's world, that's good. So things are well.
Awesome.
That's
Sounds
awesome.
great. Harrison himself actually is probably also fairly busy on his way to a gig as we speak, hence why the audio, rather video, won't be...
I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere at the minute. You know, I'm kind of at the other side of the country doing an event, a wedding. It's in the middle of nowhere, and because of my travel arrangements, I have to be kind of in the middle of nowhere for a longer period of time than just driving back in the morning, which is kind of irritating. But you know, it's all part of the fun. I just hope
Did you get through
rain.
the platform 9 3/4? Okay.
Just about. I hurt my head on the way through, but apart from that, it was all pretty good.
Did I ever discuss about the truth about Voldemort and the
I don't
platform?
think so. No.
I just have a
me.
theory. It's just a theory that pranksters like the Weasley brothers were a thing all throughout history of the wizard world, and somebody decided to pull a prank on Lord Voldemort. They gave him the wrong station to go run through, and he actually smacked his face against the wall and broke his nose. And he wants revenge on the wizard world.
That's funny.
Nice.
That is hilarious. Very, very, very interesting. So what have you been up to, Dan? Anything interesting, you know, events, things like that? I know you do a lot of stuff in the college market sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Recently did something with college as well. Got my stuff, actually, which is great. I've been doing a lot of stuff on the streets, testing out a lot of things lately. Ever since I got back from the cruise, I've been expanding magic knowledge. Now that I have the freedom to do so, college is no longer such a stress as it used to be. So I'm enjoying it while I can. You know, heading out doing magic whenever I can. Have gotten a few gigs, a few inquiries lately, which is good. I guess I'll update you guys when that occurs. But for now, I'm just relaxed, chilling. The weather outside, actually, here in New York, I don't know about Australia or the UK, but the weather is really brutal.
It's always sunny in Australia. It never rains, but over here it's quite cold.
We're actually in winter right now, so over here it's, but for us at least, like our cold is probably your summer maybe, but
exactly.
it's been pretty
still
cold
warm.
lately. But that's true. So the sun is up and it's a blue sky, but it's like 7:45 in the morning, so I'm still feeling the cold. Hence why I've got the jumper on and stuff. But
man.
I'm
sitting here with a t-shirt and the air conditioner on. I don't know if you can hear it, and I'm glad that no one's commenting on it. Probably it's not that loud, but I have the air conditioner roaring in the back, which is the first time I've done that all year. So it's pretty bad
stuff.
Sorry, that's just me blowing off the condensation. It's good, yes. Let's just hope that the rain and the cold doesn't affect us, wherever we may be.
Otherwise, I have to put my pet kangaroo underneath the house.
Very true. Very true.
Making them Aussie jokes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not in the fridge, but you know.
It's funny. So the deal with kangaroos here is there are lots of kangaroos, and my grandma actually is a wildlife carer. So at any one point, she'll have like 10 joeys that are being looked after, and so it's funny. You can make all those jokes, and they're true for her because she literally does have to feed them and all that kind of stuff. But that's
Wow.
because she lives. That's because she lives in sort of an outback area. Because on the coastline around the cities and stuff, there's just no room for them. So, like I could go drive half an hour and then I would be in an area where you might see them, but they're not as crazily, you don't ride them to school or whatever. But people do eat. They do sell kangaroo meat, which is funny because it's our national emblem. But you can buy kangaroo sausages and stuff here just because there's so many kangaroos. So.
Some parts in the UK you can as well, but it's very limited, and they have to be very well labelled, unlike horse meat.
Right. Good to know, magic community. Now you know.
Now you know. See, we don't just teach you about magic; we teach you how to live healthily and eat healthily as well.
Yes, and kangaroo meat is the cheapest and purest in protein.
Very true. Very true. But let's get off the topic of kangaroo meat and back onto what we did this week.
Excellent. So if I think about what I did do this week, I had it is a good story. I had a show on Thursday. So today it's Saturday morning over here right now. So 2 days ago I had a show. It was for a corporate event, and it was a company that was celebrating their like end of financial year party sort of thing. And it was in a really nice venue called Cloudland. And if you ever Google search Cloudland, you'll see it's this sort of really magical venue that looks like Alice in Wonderland. There's lots of little weird crystals and lighting, and really well done. And I knew that in the room I was performing in, they were going to be having dinner. So I meant to come in and do a show and then do some roving magic after it. And they told me that the company that was helping me organize to be there, they said that the venue won't supply any audio equipment or speakers or anything, so you have to bring it in yourself. So I thought that was weird, but I'm like, okay. And I didn't want to change the agreement I had with them, so I said I'll hire the equipment. I'll just set it up before the show starts. So I can go and hire a speaker, PA system. It's all like sort of portable stuff. A portable speaker, this little PA system, a wireless headset mic, and the big receiver thing. And the guy there shows me how to hook it all up. I'm like, yep, that'll be fine. And then I get to the venue, and I start setting it up. And I'm sort of under pressure because it's a surprise, me performing for this company. So I meant to set it up before anyone comes in. And I'm trying to set it up really quickly, and there's just one chord at the very end I can't figure out. Like, I just can't figure out how to connect the PA to the speaker, and I'm screwed. I have like 5 minutes before everyone's coming in, and I just have to bail on it. And then the actual venue manager of Cloudland comes in, and he's like, "Why don't you just use our in-house mic and sound system?" And I'm like, "What the crap are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, you just plug in your iPhone here, and here's the microphone." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So all the equipment was quite heavy too, so I just left it there, and I went and got where have I put it? Oh, it's on. I'll grab it a bit later. But I have a handheld mic holder. It's this little thing that goes around your neck, and it holds it there really well.
Yeah.
So
Those things.
I always keep one in my car, so I just went and grabbed that and used their mic, and I was fine. And so that taught me to always call the venue in the case of them telling you that there's no audio equipment. But the actual show went well, and something that I've learnt recently, which any magicians out there wanting to get more work with restaurants and stuff, is I've started doing card to ceiling in every venue I can, and I've been writing my details on the card. As well as, so I'm doing it in the effect, but the person signed their card. Yeah, I write my name, right? I write Josh Norbido, magician, and then I do it, boom. And so that way, if eventually they do take it down, they'll know who to call, basically.
I
So
just have a question about that actually, because I've heard some horror stories about people actually being fined because they can't get the card down from the ceiling at very, very high end venues. There's a guy I've worked with who said never do card on. I'm not joking. Never do card on ceiling because he stuck the card to the ceiling and the ceiling's like 40 foot in the air. You know, it's like really high up, and so they
yeah.
charged him about £1,000 just to take the card off the ceiling because they had to hire this whole crew in to pull the card off the ceiling. So I think I'd just be careful with that and maybe ask the venue if it's appropriate because
If I can offer a
that could
suggestion,
happen to you.
I've seen a lot of people that have this similar kind of problem with card on ceiling because a lot of times the ceiling is something you really can't mess with, especially in a posh or high-end restaurant or even places where it's inaccessible later on. A lot of people tell me, I don't want to do card on ceiling even though I love the effect. And I tell them, well, why not just do card on wall? If a wall is high enough where you could just above the height of a human, just throw it there. Same effect, same amazement, and it's so much easier to just take it down.
That's
Because-
funny because I'd do something like that where I'd take a card and I'd stick it onto the wall before the event and it'd be a dupe. And then I'd force them the card during the performance and I'd say, look, it's on the wall and say it's jumped. And they'd all flip out and they'd all point to the card on the wall. And it gives the same effect as that, but it's easier cleanup. And I've been doing that for quite a while instead of the card on ceiling itself.
Yeah. Well, I think the moral of the story is just use your judgment on if it's a 5-story roof and you feel like it's an expensive place, maybe don't do it. But I can tell you that I was invited to a very high-profile event. It was this wealthy couple that had just bought this $12 million house, and it was the most ridiculous house I'd seen, at least in Australia. And it's just been built. Like everything has just been perfectly made, perfect. And I'm on the yes. So the fifth story of their house is where they're having the party. It's a big kitchen, and it's a very large roof, a very large white painted roof, and the party was great. And there was a lot of TV personalities at this party, like a lot of news reporters and stuff, because these people were from Sydney and they just bought a house in Byron Bay. So they flew all of their friends to come and stay with them for the weekend. And just before I leave, I do card of ceiling, and because I thought about it, I'm like, this could either be really good or really bad. But at the end of the day, like any kind of emotion you can create, I think is good, whether it's good or bad. So I did it anyway, and everyone's freaking out, and then someone said, "Oh, we need to get your card back to you." I'm like, "No, it's okay." And then the wife is like, "No, we need to get your card like off the roof." And what I've said is, once the magic runs out, it will come down. And so they've just sort of been like, oh, "Okay, no worries." But then I actually got tweeted by one of the TV people, TV personalities, because I always am trying to, reach out to whoever I can. So I just tweeted them saying, "Thanks for letting me entertain you." And I performed on the Friday, and on the Monday I sent that, and then they tweeted back saying that you were great, and the card is still on the ceiling with all these exclamation marks. So they must have throughout the whole weekend been talking about this card that's still there.
And left it there.
And they made jokes about having to get the builders back in just to get it down and stuff. But no, they didn't care, So so far it's I haven't had any issues. But it's interesting what you're saying. What I probably wouldn't do is do it in like a heritage listed building, like an historic building or something. But other than that, like at a residency I perform at every Thursday. I almost do it every Thursday whenever it's someone's birthday. So there's like 20 cars on this. I've almost got a whole deck on the roof. But the venue loves it because people keep asking, what the hell are these cars on the roof for? And they're like, well, come on a Thursday night and you'll see. So there's a few different stories I've had with that. But I remember Michael Lamar telling the story about him getting in trouble doing it at the airport. He wanted to put a particular card at the top of every US airport so that when he's doing an effect at an airport, he would say to them, "Where are you traveling to?" And if he knows he's put a Jack of Hearts at that airport entrance, he will do a card trick and not finish it and say, wait till you get to your destination and look at this place. And then that's what he wanted to do. But in one particular airport, he did it, and the security saw him put it on the roof, and they're like, what are you doing? When will it come down? And him being all cocky said, oh, it never comes down. So they were going to arrest him and fine him, but he said, no, if I can get it down, is that okay then? And they're like, yes. So then he takes it down, and then it was fine. So, yeah. So there's that.
So, moral of the story, don't put cards at an airport.
Yeah, at an airport. Or do it, just don't get caught.
Personally, my experience with high school is there's every 4 years, thus far, the way I've heard it, every 4 years there's one magician that is there that the whole school knows about. And every 4 years, because 4 years is the high school period, the magician will leave and a new magician will come in as a freshman. So I remember with this one time, and it's weird, it's a cycle of 4 years, which is weird. That's the way it works. So I remember how I became a freshman, and I was the magician of the school for those 4 years. I was the Magic Man Dan, the magician that everyone knew about. But there was this one room in the school. It was the music room. And when you look up in the music room, in the corner, there is a 5 of hearts there on the ceiling. And everybody would look at it and say, that was from the magician that came right before you. He was in the music room, he did card to ceiling, and the entire 4 years that I was there in that high school, that card was always there in that music room, and nobody took it down. It was just there. It was always a reminder of how I was not the only one. Which, I don't know if I'm okay with that, but yeah, that's the facts.
Yeah, that's great.
The cycle must continue. There's always someone before you and probably someone after.
That's great. You should have added yours on there as well.
Should have.
Yeah.
Should have left my mark somehow.
I don't know why you didn't, but there's always a chance to make your mark in the future and make sure that you get known.
That reminds me, I go to college now. I got to leave my mark on the college before I leave.
Yes.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Time to do card to ceiling.
That's it.
Perfect opportunity.
Has anyone played around with David Stone's card to ceiling?
No, I've read about it, but I've never really done it myself. Similar with his card in window.
Yeah, I know he has a card in window that's very particular to David Stone, but card to ceiling by David Stone? I didn't know he had his own version.
Yeah, it's called. It starts with a Z, I think. Yeah.
Z.
What the hell is it
write
called?
down.
Yeah. Let me I'll Google it real quick. I just can't remember. The name's on the tip of my tongue, but it's he was blasting it for ages,
I think I've heard of this.
Zenith?
This does sound familiar, but
Is
I
it
didn't actually
Zenith?
read
Yeah,
it.
Zenith, I think.
I've never
Zenith.
checked it
There you
out.
go.
I thought it was a mentalism piece, one of those tricks with symbols and stuff. So I didn't look at it.
No, so what it is, the effect is you put the cards into the box, and there's no rubber bands used, and you throw the box to the roof,
remember this.
and the card ends up on the ceiling.
Is it a similar principle to Tool, but just
It's the same. It's exactly the same gimmick,
just with a card,
but used for that. Used for card selling. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like a bit of a waste that you have to recreate that gimmick every time you want to do it, though. That's the annoying thing.
Well, do you have to? Because I think some decks, some bicycle decks have.
Yeah.
This,
if you're using that design. Yeah. I see what you mean
So
in that. Yeah.
So, but anyway,
I didn't think of it like that.
He sort of just created a way to do it without needing the rubber band and the whole thing. It's just put it in the box and then boom, and it's interesting.
Nice.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, and then you can review it on here.
Definitely. Definitely.
Depends if I've got a ceiling. Right now, I don't really have a ceiling, but when I'm back at home in my office, I will certainly give it a go.
When you have the luxury of having a ceiling.
Yes. Well, I think I have a bare ceiling, but if I try and stick cards to it, I think it's going to fall down on me.
Gotcha.
If you got any questions at all, guys, write them in the comment section and we will get Josh to answer them as soon as possible. If you got any questions for me or Dan as well, we'd love to hear them.
Definitely. Let me see. Does it show you live who's watching? Like,
We
I mean,
don't-
sorry, how many?
We're never able to see how many. Well, we see how many, but we never are told who it is. So
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
that makes sense.
So if you're there, leave us a comment, say hi.
Yes.
Let us know.
Let us
that you're
know.
there.
Certainly.
What are your thoughts on what are your guys' thoughts on giving out business cards? Like, do you have a way of giving them out, or do you just give them out?
Yes, I definitely have a particular way, and it's something I have been doing for a while, and I'm glad I do. Usually what I used to do was just print the business card and hand that out as a souvenir and give it to them. But what I did recently was I was about to do that and hand out my business card, but I left my business cards at home, or I think I forgot them. I ran out. I ran out of business cards, and I wanted to give a business card, but I didn't have any. So what I did was I pulled out an index card, wrote my information on the index card, and then I realized, because this is an index card, I went into a mentalism effect, use it as a billet to have the spectator write their information, and of course when they write their information, you must put it in the pocket so that it's out of sight and out of mind. And not only does that card have that much more value because it was involved in a mentalism effect, and it has their mind, their thought on it as confirmation, and was evidence of a hit in mentalism. But you also get your information into their pockets, since they have to put it in their pockets as part of the effect. So it did two birds, one stone. It was amazing. I've done it. I'm still doing it ever since.
That's great. I think anytime you can make a business card a souvenir is very powerful.
How about you, Harrison?
I was just getting to that. So what I have on my business cards, I've got some new ones now. I like your idea with index cards, but with me, I think the stock and the quality of my business card matters, and so it's important that they can feel that quality when I give it to them, so that they know that it's like social proof. But on my old business card, I had a 10 of hearts just there, and I'd force a card on them, and then later I'd recall back and say, look, on the business card, and they'd all flip out because it's on the card. So you're getting that sort of prediction effect, but it's on your card so that they have that forever. What just happened?
For some reason I dropped off, but I am back.
Because it says there's two of you now in the call.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah. A cool image though. But the new one just has a photo of me, which was at a wedding, and it's got a 9 of diamonds, me holding it, and I just force them the 9 of diamonds, and I say, look at the card, and it's like Inception, because they see me holding their card, and they all flip out and freak out. A similar thing is Dan has a association to a certain card with his brand as well, the 6 of spades, due to the style of magic that he does. And it's sort of like that with me and the 10 of hearts, which is now the 9 of diamonds. If that makes sense. Nice. Yeah, I think he's having technical issues. I'm probably going to turn off my camera because that probably is causing it. So does that fix the problem? Okay. I'd love to know what you do when you hand out your business cards, though, Josh.
Yeah, for a while I had played around with this thing where you just have a card and then you shake it and then it just turns into your business card.
Interchange, wasn't it? Was that the right one?
No idea. I watched a lecture on Penguin and the guy taught it. Oh no, it was the at the table lecture.
Yeah. It was by hang on. Eddie. No, it was called Premium or something like that. And it was like you had 4 business cards and it became, and they all printed themselves. I remember it. Yeah.
Right. This one probably the same thing, but this one the guy just taught it as a one thing, and he just shows you how to create
Make
it
the
with your
gimmick.
cards.
Yeah.
So for a while I was doing that. So my business cards, if you watched Shimshi's lecture, I completely just used his design, and
Yeah.
it's with gold foil, and it's very
Mm.
just simplistic.
Yeah.
And on the back
Yeah.
it just has the info. And there's a perfect section right here for a particular effect that you guys all know about. So you can use it in mentalism. But this card is really thick too, really thick. So
Yeah. How thick
a
are we
lot of times
talking? Do you know
I'll
like
do
the GSM of it? Because I was
um,
negotiating when I'm getting my newer ones, because mine are about
yeah,
450 at the minute, I think they are. And I want to
okay.
upgrade them to 650, but what do you think is the right stock? How thick is
I
too
mean,
thick? Because my parents are always telling me I'm
well,
spending too much, I'm wasting my money, but I don't agree.
yeah, like I think it worked out that I was spending almost like 80. I can't remember if it was $1 per card. At one point, I had these other cards that were like $1 per card, but these I think are maybe 80 cents a card. But the thing is that if someone books you for that and you spend $1 to get an actual paying gig, like that's nothing, you know. So I think there's a difference between giving someone a flappy piece of paper that's that's a business card, or something nice. It just sort of shows the quality of your work, I think, if you're going to the effort of printing out an actual card.
Yeah.
What I really want to do is get. I don't know why I don't go and do it, but what I do want to do is just go and get some labels printed, peel them off, put them on the back of my tie, and when I do an effect with the card that I give out anyway, I'd like to just peel one off
And
and just
stick it
put it
on.
on the card and just give it to
Yeah.
them. That I think is the best way when you're performing.
I did
Like,
that in
and
the
you
beginning.
you're gonna. And
But
how did that go?
it went well. It went well. What I also messed around was printing cards on my printer and have them select a card, and then make my name and information appear on the back of the card at the end of the routine, which was something
Okay.
interesting which I had to play around with as well. But I think that these thicker cards are better because it's the first thing that people notice, particularly CEOs and high-end people, because they have thicker business cards.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm trying to get as thick as I can, and this is probably as thick as I can afford to get at the minute. And then I'm probably going to try and extend it and get thicker.
And Harrison, weren't you doing something very similar with an effect where the card penetrates a drinking glass, and then you had a sticker on the bottom of the glass that you would hand out altogether?
Say that again. I forgot what you said.
There was an effect you used to love doing with the card penetrating the stem of a drinking glass.
Yes. So you take a card. I think it was. You can probably find it if you have a look around. You take a card, you put it onto the stem of a wine glass, and then you can just stick your name onto the wine glass or on the bottom of it, and then just hand it away. And then it's an impossible object that they're never going to forget. And I think that would be a great talking point.
Is that the effect called souvenir?
Yeah. It's a fantastic thing.
Yeah, I would like to look into that too.
It's worth the investment. It is good, but it does take some prep and some practice, and the angles are a bit iffy until you get used to it.
Gotcha. I just looked up my business card order for you. It's 420 GSM is what
420? Because right.
Yeah.
Because mine's 400.
Okay. So what I asked them was I wanted to get the business card as thick as I can and still be able to have gold foil printed on it, because their printers can only go to a certain thickness and still be able to do it properly.
Don't you have to pay a lot more for the gold foil? Because when I went to a guy, he was telling me that it's probably going to cost about a £50 setup fee, and then it costs about £2 per card as well. So I'm just trying to think. That's just have my name in gold foil.
Right. It's not that expensive over here. It is more expensive, but not that expensive.
Maybe that's just because the guy's trying to rip me off.
Probably. Just order it over here and then have it shipped to you.
That's true. Yeah. What can I ask? What printer you used?
Yeah, I used a company called King of Print.
King of Print. I'll recall that later because my notepad has died.
Yeah, well, the website is kingofprint.com.au, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure
they
Google
have
will
some
help
pretty
me.
cool designs and whatnot. But I use that. And what else was I going to say about business cards? Yeah, so a lot of business books I'd read said that if you give out your business card and they don't say that's an amazing card, then you need to throw them out and get another one. So that's sort of the process I went over until I got to this one, and now people say, oh, it's so shiny or whatever. Or if you do a magic effect, then obviously that's going to give that wow factor as well. But I went through a few different variations and whatnot before I got to this current one, which I'm just enjoying at the moment.
Yeah. Because people comment on the thickness of mine more than anything at the minute. And they notice the change between my older one, and I think that's what makes me stand out a lot more now.
Yeah, yeah. Also, it's something that I like your idea of holding your picture with your card in it. That's really interesting. The recommendation I was given was to not have a photo, and that's just
I heard
maybe
that
it's
as
just
well.
their preference.
I heard that
So
as
that's
well.
why mine. Yeah, that's why mine has nothing because
I did that with my old one, but I think now is the point where I want people to be able to like communicate me and associate me with it. And I think that I just wanted to try it with a photo because I used to have it without the photo, but now I just want to see like, is it going to improve it? Is it going to be a more personal thing? So I've just sort of tried it on this new card, but the old one didn't have it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, another good tip that I heard was I saw it in a lecture as well, and it was you had the business card and then you would heat it and it would make an impression appear, and then you'd give it out.
Yeah, I like that idea, and you
And I
can
think it
do
was
that
just
using
I think it was just using like lemon juice or something. I can't remember,
that
something like
sounds
that.
interesting. I
And
think you
that
could put
way
it.
you can
Yeah.
yeah, you can just make it appear, and then you have another sort of souvenir.
That's an interesting idea. That is
I
very
remember there was this
interesting.
one particular magician that I had watched, and at the end I had a chat with him, like I do with most magicians. And he did this thing where he says, here's my business card, and he handed it to me face up. He tells me, think of any card in the deck, any card at all. And of course, I'm sure Harrison knows which card it was I thought of, but I did. And he says, don't even turn it over. Your card's in the back. The card you're thinking of is in the back. And then he just walks away from me. And when I turn the card over, and I'm pretty sure I have this card somewhere in my room, it's basically got the full deck spread out on the back of the card, like the picture of the full deck spread out. And at first I looked for my card, thinking maybe my card is the only one that's not there. But no, it was a full deck, every single card, including the Joker. The Joker was there too.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was supposed to be a humorous thing that he did, but it wasn't quite funny to me at all, actually.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. I remember that. It was memorable.
It's a nice gag, but I wouldn't have it on my business card because I think it doesn't represent me as a person in the way that I want them to understand.
I think if you wanted to, I feel like he only went halfway. He should have had some cards printed with the whole deck, and then had some printed with just like the whole deck turned over except for one, and done a change, and then later on made them look back at it or something. I feel like that's what he should have done.
I'm also thinking you could use like a pocket index and just have the card written or printed on, and you could have like an index of them, and then say, think of a card, all right, hold on to the business card, and then go into your pocket, grab the card using like an index system, and then they turn it over and it's got their card on it. That's what I'm thinking at the minute.
Yeah, or if we really want to simplify it, because as you know, I'm sure you've experienced, when you're going from gig to gig, like you don't have time to like refill a whole index, or like you just like all my close-up stuff fits in this case here, and you can just hear it. Like nothing is neatly placed anymore.
Oh no,
it used to be,
moved around.
but now it's just sort of like close the damn thing. All right, I'm leaving my Omni deck today. It's not fitting, or whatever it is. And
or you forget it to a gig, and then you're knackered.
Yeah, absolutely. So what you could just do then, like, is I could just have this and just have you name any card and do something or other, and then give it to you, and then it's written on the back. You know, that's probably another easier, simplified way. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I will say that when I my gig that I did just the other day. Oh, good. Yeah,
Yes.
that's a good case.
It's a knapsack thing. It's on the bag, on the back.
Excellent.
You know, it's my
That's
business stuff.
good. When I did my event just the other night, I did have someone tell me that they saw a magician on a cruise ship, I think, and the thing that they remembered, not because he did any magic, like they didn't remember his whole thing, but they do remember that he kept he kept giving people in the audience $100 notes, which actually was his business card printed within this money.
Yeah.
So they kept remembering, oh yeah, this guy,
He
he
kept
was a
on giving me
magician,
money.
and he would give out all these $100 notes, and then when you look at it, it's his business card. And she's like, yeah, I always remember that, and that's exactly what she said.
It's memorable, yeah.
So that that was interesting. So what's funny is I've always wanted to do a bill change to 100 and give it to them, but it be my business card, not really money. So it's like a sort of play on everyone says, can you turn it into 100, and then you do it for them, and for them to not be happy with it is just a funny moment, I think. But yeah. So there's that. Yes.
That's funny. That's funny.
It's very interesting.
Mm.
It just shows you, like, you can spend all this money on business cards, but if they don't remember it, it's pointless. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm tempted to get those business cards that you can track, so you can find out when exactly people put them in the bin. You know, you can get business cards that have trackers in them, so that you can tell when people are throwing them away.
Yeah. So I have another story about exactly what you're talking about, but I don't know, like, if you guys want to keep talking about business cards, or if you'd rather.
I would, but Dan's probably hating me inside.
We'll do one more. We'll do this anecdote with the business cards, and we'll move on to something different. I think.
Cool.
Well, I'll just very, very quickly. So before I was doing full-time magic, I worked. I wanted to learn how to sell. Like, I wanted to get sales rolled jobs so that I could learn how to sell myself when I started to do it. So I found I found like the toughest sort of industries, and one of them was selling industrial printers. And what I was made to do was go out to 100 different. So yeah, they'd drop you off in an area, and you go to door to door to 100 different businesses, and you would give them your business card and like the brochure of the new printers or whatever, and you would ask them for their business card so that you could record it, etc. So so every day you go into 100 different places. Then the next day you'd call them all to ask when their printer contract ends. And then you would note it down, and anyway, and you're trying to get your boss an appointment to be able to go in there. So it's a sound idea, but the problem is that there's like a dozen other printing companies, and there's stationery companies, and there's promo companies, so they're getting hit up every day, these businesses. And I was getting really sick of just having the same crappy conversation of, like, because they're in autopilot mode, they're just like, yep, thank you, goodbye. And you know where that business card is going when you leave. It's going in the bin. Yeah. And I know that because when I call them the next day, they can't friggin' remember who I was. They're like, yeah, you probably did come in yesterday. Someone else came in 2 minutes later as well. So what I did was I was like, screw this. I'm going to do magic. So the app called Card Now, if you guys are familiar with it, I started doing that basically. So no one knows that I'm a magician. They just see me come in the printing company. Yeah. And I come in and I give them the brochure, and I forget to give them the business card. And when I say, oh, did I put my business card on there? I sort of act a little bit and I freak out. And then I say to them, and this is it was so perfect. I would say, don't worry, because I work in the printing industry, we get access to the new technology that comes out. So just bear with me. And then and then I'd print it, so I go da-da-da-da-da, and then I'd give it to them, and that moment right there was me selling my card to them, because their jaws would drop, and 80% of people would just like freak out, and they would just have this moment where now they have to turn off autopilot mode because they've never had this experience before. So now, like, it breaks down that barrier, you know. And I would actually get some bookings for myself as a magician from doing that, just from doing that one thing. And also, I would do that at the reception, and they would go and get their boss so I could do the same thing and give their boss a business card directly. And I've never seen a salesperson like give out a business card and then be so impressed that then they went and got their boss so you could give them one as well. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think there definitely has to be effort made when even doing something as giving a business card. It doesn't have to be that it's a nice fancy card, but you can't just go up to someone and say, "I'm a magician, here's my card, call me," because there's no reason for them to keep it if they haven't first seen you. So, and the moral of that printing story was good. And the moral of that story was just that, the moral of the story was just that the printing company I worked with, they weren't the best printing company, but we certainly became the most memorable because when I would call them the next day, they would remember me and ask even when I'm coming back again. And any time I called them, they would tell me the story of how they told their friends about this. And all of a sudden, they remembered me apart from the 100 other people that have gone in that year, So that's my story.
That is interesting. One more thing about business cards that I promise I'll shut up. I've noticed more that I'm using social media to actually increase my likes, because I've gone from 200 to 500 in the space of about 2 months, 3 months, because I've been I want to get to 1,000 by the end of this year, and it's basically just by saying like my Facebook page before I go and end the performance. So as well as giving business cards, I'm networking and keeping in touch with the people who might not have business cards through Facebook, and then they're getting all my posts and things through that as well. And I found that that's actually creating a lot of traffic for me and increasing my publicity and who knows me and my network slowly over time.
That's great. That should be on your business card too, your Facebook page, if it isn't already.
Oh, it is. It certainly is. Facebook, YouTube, the Twitter, I think even LinkedIn's on there. Yeah, LinkedIn and Instagram, because more people connect with me on Instagram when they don't have Facebook.
And your birthday as well, so they know when to say happy birthday.
That's not on there, unfortunately. And the social security number.
Yeah. Yeah, and your bank details, so when they book you, they can just pay you straight away from their business card.
Yes.
Speaking of this, I used to do this as a joke, but then I realized that people didn't take it as a joke, and it actually worked. Sometimes when I do an effect to a girl where I have her sign a card or sign her name on it, the pattern I go by now is just sign your name on it, put any type of marking on it that the card is yours. You can put anything, a picture, your phone number, and sometimes they would actually write their phone number. They would actually do that. So what started out as a joke, I actually implemented into my own pattern now.
That's great.
It's,
Nice.
It works.
That's good. That's really good. Awesome. All right. And that is the end of the business card segment. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And I'll move on to the next chapter.
All the business people should now leave.
Yeah, all the magicians have left now.
Just as entrepreneurs left.
Interesting.
We're going to have to, when this video is just left on YouTube, we're going to have to put a little sub note at the bottom saying business cards portion ends at
yeah, just like a
59
notation. Click on the screen here now to end the business card section.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, when this is over, I can definitely send you this whole stream footage so you can do whatever you like with it.
Watermarkless.
Yes, we'll send it to you free of watermarks.
Yeah, cool. We can chat about that after, for sure.
Awesome.
Cool.
But just to tangent off business cards, look at my muscle pass. All right,
nice.
Now we can move on.
Very nice.
And that's a Australian casino chip. Yeah,
that's cool.
It's called the Treasury Casino.
So,
and it's at the I think this one's in Brisbane. Yeah.
Mm.
Is that the secret to successfully doing a muscle pass, using a larger coin so you're actually able to
A lot
grip
of people use poker chips for it, actually. I do have a DVD on it, muscle pass. I never could do it, actually. But the larger the coin, the easier it is. And then as you get to the smaller coins, it becomes more difficult.
Yeah, so what you want to do is start with one of these like plastic party poker chips. And no joke, so I would use these ones, and because they're so small, they're so light, they just friggin' fly when you start like when I started practicing it, yeah, it would hardly move, but you can really get these to fly really high. And then I
Okay.
moved to the actual casino chips, which are much thicker than these ones. And then I started using coins. So that was like the progression. And this poker chip actually is funny because this one is actually, it has a reveal on it, which is why I have it here. But that's the type that I would use first because, yeah, you do need a bigger surface space to be able to build that muscle to pass the coin, as you would say. But to anyone who's not a magician, it's magic. That happening is just pure magic. There's no magnets in my hands, just vanish. So there's that.
Oh, awesome. So the viewers got to learn something today. We learned how to do the muscle pass and how to begin.
Yes, that's right.
And sometimes we teach things on stream. We've been doing a lot of coin stuff lately. Last episode we taught how to palm, and the one before then we taught how to do the French drop. So
Next week we're going to teach you how to destroy all your fingers, get muscle pains from, doing the muscle pass.
Yeah, you'll have a big sore like right here when you start doing it. A friend of mine had the worst like sort of scab just cut because he just wouldn't stop, and I'm like, mate, you have to, like, if that hurts, you have to stop and wait, like let it heal and then keep going. Because I had a love-hate relationship with the muscle pass for a long time because I just couldn't do it. Then I would leave it for like 6 months and I'd do it, and then I would have improved having waited. And it took like 2 years of just never doing it, sometimes doing it, never doing it, sometimes doing it, to now doing it. So.
And
Yes.
having seen you do some little subtle magical things while this conversation has been going, like springing cards in the coin roll, I noticed the coin roll is one of those things that you actually do fairly well, which I'm personally really slow at and incapable of. How long did that take you, if I may ask?
The coin roll, it's one of those things that just takes those hours, doesn't it, just to sort of practice. I know that when I started, what you just did then, like that even took me a long time to get to, but now I think I've just done it so much that I can go any direction, and I think it just took like 6 months of just whenever I'm watching TV or something, just to do it. I think that's just what it was, and now I will actually use it in my magic and all the time because now I don't have to think about it. But yeah, it just takes. Like, what's the line? 5 years without a girlfriend and you can learn this, or whatever they say. Yeah, just I would say it took me 6 months of just like dedication to this move, and then that's it.
See. So you're one of those people that are ambitious and try to get down every knuckle-busting move, like the what do you call it, the Sybil cut and 360
Holy
helix
cow.
and stuff.
Holy
Yeah.
cow, things like that.
Yeah, so I am, and I'm not. I have friends that are much more move monkeys than me. I used to learn as much as I could. Like, this is the hardest one-handed cut I know. Well, there's two, actually. This one is really hard for me to learn. So it's a 3-packet cut. Looks like this. And that's just with one hand. And what? I think, did I just disappear? Okay, cool.
No.
So it
I
looks
made
like
you a
this.
presenter. So
Gotcha.
They can see
So it looks like that. And the other really hard one I learned was this, which is called the Muse cut. And so I learned that, and there was really, it serves no purpose. So I kind of wish like I didn't spend that many hours learning it. But there are
do you ever
some
get
things that
complaints from clients and things like that from doing it?
what, from being too skilled, or
Yeah, from showing off too much.
from clients, never, no, because clients like to be able to see that you're doing something impressive, like. But I'll make a point of letting people know that I know that what I'm doing is showing off. Like my pattern for doing the Sybil cut is I will say to people, So blah 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 blah, and to track where your card is in the pack, I have to do a particular shuffle. This one is actually known as it's called showing off. Yes, that's what it's called. And then there's that relief of, okay, we know that he's doing it on purpose to show that he's doing what he's doing. So I make it a point, but I don't spend the whole night, doing flourishes or whatever. I just subtly add it in because my opinion on Magic is it's good for people to know that you are skilled, and I only think that because then they appreciate what you're showing them more. And then if you do something later that uses no sleight of hand, it fries them even more. Like a haunted deck, for example. Like so, I'll do all this knuckle busting stuff, which is frying them, and they're just like, holy crap. And then I do something with literally nothing, and the deck moves and it comes out. They have no idea because they think that everything I do is skill based, and then all of a sudden when they can't see where any skill could be, they're just like, what the heck? So I think it's for me it's good at least. But to get back to knuckle busting stuff, yeah, I enjoy learning a lot of knuckle busting things, but I don't use them all, right? So that's kind of how it is. I do have a friend that doesn't perform professionally, but he knows and does well, like just freaking so many moves. But there's just, what's the point?
I often find that cardistry and Magic are two different categories that usually
Absolutely.
people are one or the other. Personally, the way I see it is, to put it simply and probably a little too simple, not because there's a lot more depth to it, but the way I see it is I'm a magician, not a juggler. So I shouldn't be all about all the knuckle-busting moves. It shouldn't be all about that. Because then you're basically just juggling. You're doing the same thing that the other guy is with the hoops and the balls and stuff. I'm here to make the impossible occur, not throwing cards around. But,
yeah.
Again, that's my personal opinion. But, like the most... the most, I guess, extensive thing I do is this. That probably isn't even probably doesn't even have a real name to it.
Yeah.
I mean, once you know the basics, once you know the DLs, you know the spring, you know the dribble, I think that's all you really need. The pass, stuff like that.
And just like one of them.
Yeah, basically one of those.
That
I remember.
That helps.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Boom. Nice. Yeah.
I remember when JJ used to overuse it. He used to overuse it so much.
Yeah. I do it twice. I always do it twice, and then I leave it. Because the second time always really gets people.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you mean producing it in halves? Like you have half, and then you do it a second time to produce the full deck?
No, not that. I would say to people, like, can you shuffle cards? And I'd give them the cards, and I'd say, let me give you all of them. And then I would say, my sleeves are rolled up, so I have to keep them somewhere. And I give it to them, and then I go, wait, hang on. I do it again. And then I pretend like I'm going to do it a third time. I go, wait. And then I say, oh, no, that's it. And then if you want to, I'll throw the line out there, that bad line of, I'm a pack-a-day man, so that's why there's no more, or whatever it is. And then I just move on. Yeah.
How important is it to be early when you turn up to gigs? Like, because
Early?
some people don't understand how important it needs to be that you have to be there early and not just on time.
If you're doing roving magic, the guy, have you guys heard of a magician named Matt Hollywood?
It sounds familiar.
Hollingworth.
Matt Hollywood.
Oh, Hollywood.
Yeah, I think he released a DVD set a while ago. I think.
So Matt Hollywood is like the leading magician in Australia at the moment. I think he's about 40 or something. And he has his own stage, like his own theater where he people go and see him every week and stuff. And he sort of he runs like the corporate world of magic like for the longest time. And I spent some time with him, and he said that he will get to he'll get to any gig at least an hour before it starts, every time, he says. And so I don't take it to that extreme, but I think it can't hurt. But I now try to at least get there half an hour before it starts, because I've had instances where that's given me extra time because I realized I've forgotten something, or there's been traffic, or I get there and like I can help the client by starting earlier because everyone has arrived on time and there's just nothing happening, or you never know. So yeah, I always go by the line that if you're on time, then you're late. So if you're not early, then you're late.
That's interesting.
But I mean, I've had times where I have just rocked up like with 2 minutes to spare, and it feels terrible because you're like rushing.
Yeah, I did one.
But I think
regret it. But my calendar got all messed up, and I actually didn't know that the date was this day. I thought it was the next day. So the client phoned me up saying the event's today, and I'm like, oh no, I thought it was yesterday. So he wasn't that bothered about it, but I felt really bad because of the fact that I got the date wrong, and that's one of the mistakes that I said that will never happen again.
Yeah, that does suck. I think that's always my fear, because I always I use the calendar on my phone and it syncs up with my laptop and it reminds me the day before every time I have an event on.
Yeah.
Especially when you start doing like 6 gigs a week, which at the moment is like sort of my work weeks at the moment, and if it's not written down and I haven't gone over it like every day, it's really easy to forget when things are on and stuff. Just because of the nature of there's just so many.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always get there early, and I'll always stay extra than what, like I won't finish on the dead hour that I said I would be there.
Tell me more about that. Tell me more about, like, let's say they book you for 2 hours. How much extra will you actually do, and things like that? Because that interests me.
Okay. So yeah, so if I'm there for 2 hours, well, if I'm there for 2 hours, 2 hours is definitely long enough for people to witness a lot of magic. So it's mainly if I'm there for 1 hour that I will stay for like an extra 15 minutes or something. Or what I'll do is I'll say it'll get to the hour, and it's really hard to finish on the hour because, one, we love it so much we get carried away, right? So, and two, by the end of your hour, you'll have like those extra people who really enjoyed it that come back to see more. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll say, on purpose, I'll be like, oh, sorry, I've gone over time, but let me just show you guys one more thing, and then I'll do it, and then I leave and I just explain that, because I love it so much, I just wanted to give you some extra time, and that's just something that leaves a good flavor in the client's mind that you are happy to just give that extra time because they know how expensive your time is, so they don't mind it. So usually it's like 15 minutes or something that I'll sort of just go extra. It's just good because so many people have rehired me and known that I'm not just there to watch the clock or charge them for extra time. I've had one person actually tell me to stop because they only paid for 90 minutes. They're like, but they only said that because they were worried I was going to charge them more. They're like, please stop it. It's been 90 minutes now. I could only afford to pay 90 minutes. I'm like, no, it's okay. Like, I'm here to make sure everyone's happy. It's not like I'm trying to get more work from you. It's funny. So that's my sort of look on it.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Also, these days though, I've started to quote for the event, not for the time that I'm there for. So that doesn't really work anymore if I do that. So I'll say it's X amount, which is an appearance fee, which means I'm just there until everyone is entertained.
I mean, what I normally charge now is like I'll charge. You can either have an hour, you can have 2 hours, or you can have the full evening, the full event. So it gives them like a choice. And normally, the hour will be the most expensive. Then it will be like the 2 hours is a little bit cheaper, and then the event is like the best value for money overall. So the event I might be 300 or 250, whilst for an hour you might be looking at 100, 150, that sort of thing, which is what I'm trying to encourage them to choose, the latter and the longer option.
Great. It's definitely a good business tactic. I think that's the way it should sort of work anyway. So that's good.
Okay.
Yeah. So Dan, what was your next topic on?
Yes. Let's move on.
On today.
Well, I guess we've discussed about the Magic community, discussed a bit about business, and we have definitely done a little tutorial on how to do the muscle pass. Cool.
Yes.
Last episode, I actually made a promise that I would read a little material that I had laying on my shelf up here for quite some time. And so I have done just that. I've actually picked it up and read a little bit of it. This is Diamond Jim Tyler's book, The Close-Up Magic Secrets.
Nice.
Yeah, I promised I'd give a little bit of a review of it because I was actually genuinely curious. Again, I'm not an advocate for books, and I don't look at books, even including magic books. Maybe if it's a magic book, it gets my attention, but that's about as far as it goes. This happens to be one of them, and I didn't even realize that I had Diamond Jim Tyler's book, being who he is, and so I was glad to actually be able to sit down and give it a little bit of a read. The book actually begins very interesting because it begins by stating that Diamond Jim Tyler, he surpassed a feat that most magicians try to, which is overcoming death in many ways. Are you familiar with this feat that Diamond Jim Tyler had been through?
He came and lectured in my town, and I've seen him lecture, but I haven't heard him talk about this before, no.
I don't know if I can quote this. Let me see if I can, or if I can even find it. So apparently, yeah, it says right here, many magicians have escaped or cheated death. It's always been a trick, yet he once performed a feat that even Houdini himself never equaled. And I never knew this, but apparently at the very end of the chapter it reveals that he was, at the time of writing the book, 5 years in remission of Hodgkin's disease. So I never knew that.
Wow.
I had no idea. He beat cancer, essentially. And that's how it begins. It says that this is the inspiration of him writing the book, and if it weren't for that, then this book would not exist. So I'm going to be honest, I didn't finish all of it quite yet, but I got through a majority of it. And there's quite some interesting stuff in here. And I'll tell you, back then when I used to pick up magic books from libraries or look at things, the material that's been around for a while, a lot of it would be repeated material over and over again because there's only so much you can put into a book that's public knowledge. I got to say that a lot of the stuff, in fact, most of the stuff that I see here is stuff I've never seen before. A lot of this is unique, it's original, and I have never seen this published anywhere before. That said, 90% of it is cards. I've mentioned this before, but if it's primarily card magic, it kind of turns me away from it slightly because of the fact that we live in a generation where not everyone can relate to cards, and there's only so much you can do with 52 pieces of paper. And I genuinely mean that there's so much you can do. But the premise is the same. You're manipulating 52 pieces of paper in a particular way that amuses people. But again, I think it's better to expand and broaden out, which there are some awesome things here that do expand it. There's a ring flight routine, which is pretty cool. There is a Torn and Restored card, which has a flashy twist, which, hint, hint, uses flash paper. There's...
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that, actually. Sorry.
Yeah. There's actually a really cool... Okay, so here's something that I found in here, which I really consider a gem, something that I'm definitely going to immediately put into my repertoire. He teaches you how to deal with hecklers, and you may or may not have heard of this, because I think I've heard of this one time before, but I don't know if it was because I saw this book in the past or not. It's called the 3-match principle. Have you heard of this?
No, not me.
No? So essentially, you come up to a heckler, someone who's been heckling you, and for the sake, Harrison, why don't you be the heckler? Oh, he's muted his mic. Okay, I believe he's probably doing something. So a heckler's heckling you. You pull out a match box or matchbook. You strike 3 matches. You blow them out. So you tell the heckler, I want to play a game with you. This is a bet. I'm going to ask you 3 different questions, and your answer to those questions must be 3 burnt matches. If you answer anything else, you lose. And you can bet $1 or something for this bet. However, if you so that's essentially the bet. If you answer anything else, you lose the bet. Sounds fair? All right.
Yeah.
So the first question is, you're walking home, you can't find your keys. What do you use as plan B to get into your house?
The 3 burnt matches.
Yep. Question number 2. You have a sore throat, but you can't find your cough drops. So what do you swallow to soothe the soreness?
3 burnt matches.
Third and final question. What are you willing to trade me for that $1?
Nice. 3 burnt matches?
Oh, sure. I'll accept. You take 3 burnt matches, and I take the $1 that you traded me.
Nice. That is funny. That's good. That's good. One thing that's similar to that, but actually it's not similar. It's a heckling using matches. That's really great though. Have you seen the match that can burn twice? Are you familiar with this? Yeah, it's like you light a match, and you say the match is burning once right now. Watch closely, and he blows it out. And then they're like, have you ever seen a match burn twice? And they're like, no. And you go like this, and you just put it on their arm, and then they jump back, and they're like,
that would be a perfect time to do combustion.
Yeah, so you could do combustion, but the person that was showing me was just like, yeah, we just put it on the heckler's arm, and then they'd move away because it just burnt them, so it burnt twice.
That's a trick that I've never messed with, really. I think it's very dangerous. And when you're purchasing the ingredients, if like, I don't know, the NSA came across a video of this, they'll probably think we're making like a bomb or something.
For sure. No, that's right.
Have you ever
I haven't
experimented
played
with it?
No, I haven't experimented with combustion. No, the only stuff I do is I use a lot of flash paper, and I sometimes do that thing that I've seen it from Wayne Houchin, which is this thing.
Yeah, Kieran. Yeah.
Is that?
I can't remember.
Kieran Johnson's thing, I think.
I'm
I have no idea, but it's just where you just keep holding the flame over your hand. Yeah. So I do that, and then
I can see that. I didn't quite see that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Perfect. Here we go.
That is very realistic.
I mean, from the perspective of the camera, from what I'm seeing, it almost seems as though the flame is going through your fingers. Is that meant to look like that?
Yeah, it's just the flame is just completely indulging my whole finger.
That's very cool.
And
that's Wayne Houchin's?
And well, he put up a video of it. He didn't teach it, but he uses it. His presentation of it is that he says, imagination is so strong that if I imagine my hand is full of ice right now, my hand is now numb. And because it's so cold, I shouldn't even be able to feel fire. And then and that's his presentation of it. What I do is I'll borrow a lighter and do that, and then I'll produce smoke out of my mouth as if like I've taken in the flame, and it's had to be produced somewhere else. So that's what I'll sort of do with that idea. Yes.
It's cool.
And the good thing is what you're seeing happen is really happening. It's not like a fake flame, which is what happens sometimes. People think it's a fake flame, and then I give it to them, and they're like, what the hell? So it's fun. Yeah. Yes.
There's a particular photo that I'm trying to find that I'd like to show, but I can't really find it right now. So instead, I'll show you something else that's a little similar. Basically, I made a meme of something. You could probably see it on screen if this is working correctly.
I believe it's on the Magician Friday group somewhere. If you have a search around there, people watching, you'll be able to find it.
Do you see the?
I see the photo.
Yeah. So that's basically a screen cap from the Combustion DVD, and I had a caption saying, "When you realize how impractical this is and you want a refund." Because you look at the guy on the right, his face is just.
That's
it was
great.
basically the same face I had when I saw it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I just think it's a waste of perfectly useful, products. Hairsprays, deodorants, they could be used elsewhere. Speaking of which, it reminds me of an effect called hot leads, which I got in an auction a long time ago. Don't know if you've heard of that one.
Hot leads?
Yeah, have you heard of it, Josh?
No, I've never heard of hot leads.
Basically, you take your business card and you set it on fire and you hand it to them burning, and then they blow it out, and it's fine because you take lighter fluid and you put it on, and then the wallet, you have some way of lighting it. So when they take it out, it's burning, you blow on it, and you hand it to them. Or you hand it to them burning.
Now that you say it that way and describe the effect, I have seen that effect. Steve Cohen did it on an interview when he released his book, Winning the Crowd. He did that on TV. Yeah, I have seen it for sure. But that's a good way. That's a good idea. Good idea. The only downside is I remember it was reviewed on the Wizard Product Review, and they sort of said that, like, if you're at an event, you have to have a glass with the lighter fluid, and you have to have all your business cards like sitting in it, and you have to go back and get one each time. Like.
Yeah, but if you're doing it, for example, just to the CEO or someone like really important, it's worth it. Because I mean, I use ice a lot of the time at my events, so I'll take with me ice. I do card in ice and make ice appear at tables and things. So I'm willing to take that setup, and when you've got that miracle, I think it's worth it.
Definitely.
Particularly for someone who you want to make an impression on.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing that they always remember out of OmniDeck, out of everything else they do. I get people coming up to me saying, "Can you do the ice thing?" I'm like, damn, I didn't bring it today.
That's great. I didn't bring it. Nice. Good stuff. I guess that's a good question. Dan, for you, when you perform at an event, what's like the one memorable thing? It might not be what you think is memorable. What's the thing that people keep, that will like repeatedly say that you had done or remembered you by?
I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen any of my performances or any of my interviews about the kind of magic I do, but my genre is geek magic mainly and primarily. If you've ever seen Dan Sperry or even some of Wayne Houchin stuff, or like you said, the needle through hand that you saw me do, that's pretty much my genre. Just last week or the week before, I was reviewing Sin by Phil Knoxville, the card from Nose. So any type of geek magic that I do, it always is the one memorable thing that sticks out in people's minds, which is probably one of the reasons why I love geek magic so much. It's just unique. It's out of the ordinary. Most magicians don't do it, for more reasons than one.
That's true.
So yeah,
nice.
It's actually something that I was going to test out today. Something that I was going to try to create my own twist on. And I'm wondering, is this the opportunity? Is this the opportune
it's your time to shine.
To try this out.
Let's see it.
Let's see it.
Yeah. See, Harrison and I have been discussing this a little bit prior. First of all, let me see which one of these is me, so I can present. Is this it?
You're presenting, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys can see me. Awesome. Great.
Yep.
So there is this one particular effect that has been in my repertoire for a very, very long time, and there's this one particular effect that I really can't pull off. But I realize if I combine the two, I think one might be able to get the second to work. So let me just show it to you. Let me just show you this little variation, this little twist that I've come up with. Now, just by showing this to you, you kind of may see what's coming, right? You know what this is, correct?
Okay. Yeah, thread, right?
Yeah, spool of thread, right? So, of course, my standard pattern, I would start opening up the thread, and I would allow the spectators to examine it and take a look at it and ensure that it is standard ungimmicked thread. How you can gimmick thread is beyond me. I don't quite understand it, but still, as a magician, it is my obligation to have people inspect it and take a look at it. So you can go ahead and do that. Take a look and inspect. So,
Wait, sorry.
Here we go. I'd go through my entire pattern as per usual, and I'm gonna kind of just skip that.
Good. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, I can give it back to you.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm just gonna go straight into the performance, skipping the pattern for now, just for now. Here we go. And by the way, I had braces all throughout last year and a half. This is really hard to do when you're wearing braces. Just letting you know.
That's good. That's good pattern, actually.
Oh yeah, you might want to mute the mic, or just mute the video, whatever you don't like seeing. I'm joking, by the way. I'm joking, by the way. No,
I just got a genius idea. Actually.
I think he actually muted the mic.
No, I can hear you. It's good.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just want to make sure, because I was joking. See, in the pattern, I would say you might want to cover your ears or maybe even your eyes. That's my pattern. But
That is a great image.
I love that you mastered that touch. That is something that you've been working on for the last 17 years of your life. Finally accomplished.
What is going on there? Is that if you peeled your skin off your eyelid? Is that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's I've not seen that.
Now
before.
available at penguinmagic.com.
Yeah.
you gotta love this image right here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna screen cap that for you.
Oh,
Bloody
yeah.
hell. Learn how to tear your eyelid off.
Yeah, that's gonna be next week's thing. Forget destroying your hands. How to make yourself bleed from the inside.
Yeah. People watching this video are going to be like, what the hell? Like, someone's burning their hand off. Someone's ripping their eyes out.
Don't worry,
this
guys.
this is a highlight.
Some other guy's in a closet in the dark with his light.
Yeah, this is gonna be a stream highlight. I really need to start doing stream highlights. I've been saying I'm going to do that for a while, and I haven't actually gotten.
You've got all the footage. If you can upload them and it's easy for you. You can just edit them on YouTube. You don't have to download all the files.
Yeah.
Wow,
I do.
That's cool. There's a highlight. There's a highlight show before the video starts or something, or how does the?
No, you can just edit it with YouTube instead of having to download the whole file and render it in a really high-intensive program like Sony Vegas or Premiere, which makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
You can basically cut bits out and compile them right on YouTube from within the editor. It's quite cool.
And it keeps the same link.
And it keeps the same link. Or you can create it as a new link.
Wait, no. Yeah, when you edit a video and whatever you create with the video editor, it creates as a new standalone video, so it's a separate upload. It's a different
But you
link.
can trim videos, like take bits out.
Yeah, you can
just
trim
not
it. Yeah.
compile different clips, and it will keep us the original link. So
Yeah.
you get all the
So,
same
like-
stuff.
So if people ramble on about business cards, you can cut that out.
Yes.
Or just,
Not before
like
I
you said, put the
download this
link.
episode, though.
Yeah. That's a great performance, man. That's really great. A friend of mine named PD Magic, he was really big in Australia, and he was on Free Magic Live a few times, and now he is like a celebrity magician in Vietnam now. JJ and PD are roommates in Vietnam, actually, because JJ is based in Vietnam now, but he flies back to Australia and to countries for like his events.
I'm
And
just curious,
PD,
why did he move there? Was it like a business thing? Was it because things are cheaper there?
yeah, I think so. I think what it is PD and JJ have always been in the magic scene together. PD moved over there first because PD does have Vietnamese heritage, and he looks Vietnamese, and he speaks fluent Vietnamese as well. So it was easy for him to get onto the market. So he had his own TV series over there of magic. And I think what happened was he was there for long enough and sort of said to JJ, like, there's something to be made over here, like you should come over as well. And I think that's sort of what sparked him to go over there. And I think once you're over there, things are cheaper, and it's not that hard to fly back for work and whatnot. And I think, and now he's actually working on the emceeing scene over there. He's emceeing a lot of music festivals and things.
Mm.
So now he's actually getting great work while being over there. So he's sort of enjoying it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and also I think he likes Asian women, so that helps.
I guess it does.
But anyway, but my point to that was, so PD Magic, he's been doing thread for like as long as I've known him, and now he performed this for Kelly Rowland. There's a clip on YouTube of him performing this at a conference, and he's doing it for Kelly Rowland, and he does it now he's actually created like a little audio track that goes with it, so it tells like a story.
Oh, that sounds really good. I love that type.
It's really nice. It's like he's like talking about his life and blah blah.
Is there a video of that online? Because I'd love to see that.
Yeah, definitely. Just if you Google search, so PD Magic, magic is spelled with a J. It's MAJIK. That's how he spells his magic name.
PD Magic with a J.
Sorry. No. So PD as in PETEY.
PETEY.
On his
Why?
Facebook page.
PD.
Magic.
Yeah. PD Magic. And if you search PD Magic performs for Kelly Rowland, I'm sure it will come up.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, so he does that now, and I remember discussing with him, because people have seen him do it so much. We were talking about when single needle came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That you could do it, like you could have been seen doing it on a clip once, so people know the effect, and then when you do it the second time, you do it and the needle doesn't come out, just the thread comes out, and then you would have latex up your neck, but then you basically like reach in your neck and all this blood comes out, and then you pull out this needle.
Well, that is a wonderful.
That was his idea. Well, actually, his idea was to have having swallowed 6 needles and only 5 come out, and then you have to. So when seeing the blood, then just reminded me of like this idea we had talked about, but not executed. But so that's great. That coming from your eyes, even better, you know. So that's awesome.
Yeah. But as you can see, no latex.
Imagine if, Dan, you could pull
right.
that needle out of your eye, or even pull it out of your nose.
Huh. You know,
Oh God.
Well, I mean, we're already pulling cards and coins and nails out of our nose. What's a needle compared to that?
Did you see that effect that David Penn shared the other day? from the Magic Convention of the guy putting a coin into his eye socket
Oh,
completely.
I saw that.
Oh,
Yeah,
David
yeah,
Starr.
the guy, yeah, David Starr, yeah, that,
What
yes.
the F? What the F?
He explained that there's no sleight of hand. This is actually him putting coins in his eyes.
Yeah, just like, why would you, like, he just, boom, put a coin in his eye, and then
That
the
guy
spectator's
needs
finger
his
goes in
own
his eye.
TV spin-off special. Someone needs to make that
Yeah.
happen.
See, now
Are
this
you
actually
watching closely?
this actually brings me to two particular questions I wanted to ask you at some point during the stream, which I think this is the perfect time.
Mhm.
Saying that, are there any particular effects that you really want to know or learn that you don't already? Anything out there that you've seen that you're like, I want to know how to do that?
The buzz as it would be. You know, the pipe dreams, the workers' dreams, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I would love to be able to take a spectator's ring and put it onto a wine glass. I would love to be able to do that.
There is a way of doing that, I think.
Sure.
But you have to use the Himba ring, I think.
Yeah, so
That's the only downfall.
exactly, so I would love to be able to put a
I just
spectator's
thought of
ring.
an idea of how I could do that, actually.
Like I have
I'm going to write that down.
purchased so I did learn a version from John Luke Bertrand, David Stone's manager. His name's John Luke or something. He brought out a DVD called it was this effect. It was using what was it called? Anyway, he brought out this great DVD and he teaches a lot of magic. But during it, he makes the spectator's ring vanish, and then later on, this box appears. No, that's wrong. Sorry, he makes a ring disappear, and then later on, he offers them a drink and then the wine glass has the ring on it, their actual ring. And I did see that. That has to be done during a show type of thing.
Is it any wine glass, or is it that particular wine glass that it can only work with?
It's well, someone's off stage prepping the ring onto the wine glass.
I've saw something similar. I saw a guy, he takes a ring and he makes it appear on like a pepper or a salt shaker. So he has it and it's actually on the salt shaker and pepper shaker, then they take it to pieces and it's actually stuck in between it.
Okay.
And I think it's got a similar method.
So I think that's why I like the look of that souvenir effect, because it's kind of achieving the same impossibility.
Yeah, it's nice, but the prep is a bit excessive.
For sure.
But apart from
I
that,
can
it's very
imagine
good.
it would be. Yeah. So ring on wine glass is something that really fascinates me.
I've got an idea for how to do it. I'm just going to have to implement it and see how it works. Speaking about wine glasses, what do you think about Refraction by David Penn? Have you seen the thing, Bend in the Wine Glass? Don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I have. I've never... That's another thing that I love the idea of it, but I haven't taken the time to. I have a friend who bought the necessary gear to do it and stuff, and it is the kind of length I would go to, but I just haven't. I don't know. It didn't really. It looks amazing. I don't know why I'm not wanting to do it more. It's not something I delved into. For the longest time, I always wanted to be able to do a signed coin bend, which now I can do, but for a while, that was a thing that I really wanted to be able to do. But then from David Penn, I won't name it on this public forum, but from David Penn, I was able to do that. I'm just trying to think of what other effects that I really wanted to do. It's hard to think of. Like there's things on
of the cards, you know, the making the cards into glass was something I've wanted to do for years. But until you actually have it, you don't realize the power that it has over people.
Yeah, that's true.
And in a similar way, I actually bought the pen version as well, but that quickly broke. And I want to expand it, so I want like the pen. I want the cards to vanish, then I want the pen to go, and then I want them to look down and see their phone's gone as well. I want it to be like a whole, and then the table goes. You know, everything just becomes clear. That would be like the perfect routine for me.
I always wanted to be able to, because I heard a story, and it's not how it happened, but you know how spectators would change what they remember happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's particularly when they're
Well,
drunk.
yeah, well, I had someone say to me that a magician said for him to get his driver's license out and hold it in his hand, and then all of a sudden he looked and it was the magician's driver's license, right? And I thought that was really cool. So I wanted to be able to do something with their driver's license and have it like transpose. And it wasn't until I saw David Stone lecture that he actually taught a way to have their driver's license change into yours and theirs is in your wallet. But it's still not the same pipe dream of it happening like boom right here. It's slightly different. But I'm still yet to look for something where it's like almost like this sort of thing. Like, boom, now it's theirs or whatever it is. That was very bad angles, but you know what I'm saying.
I've got
there
one
actually
more
is
question.
one. There's just letting you know there is an effect that is like that. It's out there on the market. I don't remember the name. I'll definitely find the name for you, but it's there.
Really?
While Dan's thinking
Okay.
of that, I'm just wondering, what do you think about electric touching or using like shocking your spectators? Is that something you've thought about doing? Because a lot of people seem to be doing it, but one, I feel it's not perfect for children's parties for the obvious reason, and two, I feel like that clients might not appreciate it and might sue you because you're electrocuting them.
Yeah, I don't think you can go electrocuting kids for entertainment. I don't think
No,
any
not
gonna
kids.
like you for that.
You know, it would make them quiet though.
That's true. The simple answer is I don't use it, but that's actually because I really hate static. Like I just can't handle static electricity. So the thought of me producing it myself, just I can't do it. But I have friends that I have one friend that like swears off it. We use it every time. He loves electronics, so he has all sorts of crap going on. But he will do that. He also has like an ultrakinesis thing set up on him, so he can you can put a ring on your finger and it starts revolving.
Oh, I like
itself
the
and
ring. I've never thought about doing it with the ring. That's nice.
yeah, and you just have to sit it like on your nail, and it does it. So he'll have all this stuff, and he swears by it, and I think there's room for it because you're not really electrocuting him. You just sort of like there's that sensation. But one time he had a heckler, and so what he did was he charged up the electric touch longer than he should have, saying to that spectator like, imagine, just keep picturing the card, blah blah blah. Put out your hand, and he specifically only used the very tip of his pinky finger, so that it really amplified that spot right there, rather than it being the whole hand or something. And he just went bang, and this woman just freaked out. And then she learnt to shut up, which is kind of funny.
One thing I messed around with was, you know those little snap bang things which you throw on the floor and they go bang? A couple of times for a gig, I had a bunch of them in my pocket, and just to like getting people's attention, I'd just go up to them and just go, or if a magic moment, like if the cards are about to turn into glass, I go, and they'd scream and freak out, and it created more of a reaction. It created like a magic moment. Those things.
So these,
wow.
Is this what you're referring to, Harrison? These things?
Yeah. I take those.
They
put them
are
between
not.
my fingers.
They are not that common.
And then it'd go, and they'd freak out and scream because it just adds another level to the magic.
Dan, I can't believe you have them with you right now.
Oh yeah. It's weird because a lot of times I'm out and about when I'm doing magic or just walking daily life, and people will be like, I wish I had a marker right now to write something. I'd be like, oh, here. I wish I had an index card. Oh, here. It's like I always carry rubber bands on my wrist everywhere I go as a magician. And this one time I'm trying to prove a point. They're right here, right next to me. So I always have rubber bands. One guy that in my college goes, man, I need a rubber band to keep my files together. I'm just like, here. It just so happens
You're just like a storage cupboard. They just have everything you need.
As a magician, it just so happens that any object that people may or may not need in daily life, I happen to have it right next to me conveniently.
That was very specific that time.
Yeah, but
And by
those
the way,
things
That was.
are
I,
useful.
I found the name of the effect that I was referring to earlier. It's called DLT
Oh
by
yes.
Nathan Kranzo.
I
DLT
heard of
stands for
that.
Driver's License Transpo.
I'm writing that down.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've already got my value from this video today. This stream. DLC.
We're always giving free
That
value.
And that's why we
that
do
is
this.
awesome.
That's why we do
That's
this,
awesome.
because we just, we chill, we laid back, we
Yeah.
discuss things, and,
And now I'm going to go out and do my gigs, and everyone's going to be doing DLT now because they watched this stream,
Yes, including me.
including you. Yeah.
I don't think it should be a problem for you, though.
That's really awesome. Like the version I've been doing is cool as well, but I'm going to check this out for sure.
Is it awkward that I'm
Thank you.
continuing the rest of my stream with like a blood trail going down the side of my face?
It's cool. It should be like, you should always have that. It's like good branding. Like,
Actually,
when
you're
you get
right,
one of
because
those,
this is my personality. This is the kind of
it's like
magician.
in the image, like your business card image or whatever, your profile image, you should have that red eye. It should be like a distinctive look for you. I think it'd be a good way for like you standing out from the crowd. I
Riley
picture,
Pro
like-
Magician already has that. That's Riley's thing, not mine.
So use the other eye.
The other
I don't know, maybe have like a cut in your neck or something. Have some sort of blood or gore.
I'll figure out
think
something. Just stick a 6 of spades to my forehead.
No, have 6 of spades like engraved in your forehead, like written in blood or whatever. Like, like have it like scolded in. Like, you can get those scar tattoos, get that. I'm not condoning those at all.
Like Game of Thrones style, right, where they had the actual mark of those religious group. Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
So
Wow.
So we went over basically what a lot of people wanted to learn, but there's one particular fact that I have yet to learn that I really want to, more than anything, which is the water spout. And I'm sure you're familiar with it, right? Because a lot of people have done it, including Jen Johnson, David Blaine, and people out there in America's Got Talent shows, or rather other talent shows, not just America's Got Talent. Insert blank Got Talent. You see it all the time. And it's becoming a more commonly known thing. Hell, Ryan Stock does it. But I don't know how to. I don't even know where to begin. There's no material out there on where to even start learning it, yet there are so many people out there that are exponentially learning it. And as a geek magician, that's something I need to learn.
I want to learn it too.
I need to know how to do that.
I want to just do it when I'm first, just like...
Yeah. And of course, the thing you were talking about earlier with David Stone, was it David Stone? The thing with the coin going inside the eye socket. I've seen a lot of people...
David Starr.
David Starr, yes. I've seen a lot of people put stuff into their eye socket, including fingers. I've seen people legitimately on YouTube videos, especially children, take their fingers and stick it into their eye socket.
David Starr did it in the video. He puts his finger in when he's putting the coin in.
Yeah.
Pushes his full finger in.
So that's another thing I want to learn how to do.
There must be a space under there, like similar to how there's a cartilage inside of your nose. I think there's a similar space in the eye socket that's just not known.
I feel like there is, but it's probably meant to be left as a space.
So's the space in your nose, but people don't listen.
True. That's true. Wow.
And yet here I am putting a string in my mouth, pulling out of my eye.
Yeah, just casually.
I'm pulling cords out of your nose and stuff like that.
Excellent.
So, what are your views on the water spout? I mean, have you experimented with it? Have you have any ideas how it might work? Do you teach it on Free Magic Live?
The water spout. Yeah, that's right. Where the last video was the easiest magic trick in the world, and the next one will be water spout regurgitating fluid. Definitely. You know what would be great is to combine Think a Drink with the water spout.
Think a Drink. Oh, I know.
Which is where
where they think of a drink.
And you can have 5 people, and you just start spurting out like champagne. There's a juice. There's beer. There's intestinal fluid. There's milk.
There's blood.
There's blood. Oh my god, if you did blood, what the hell? Actually, blood could be funny, like
You could
just to
you could
consume
just
something that
swallow.
looks like blood.
Yeah, you could just swallow water with red food colouring and just go. That would be an interesting
Yeah,
thing to
that's
try.
people are going to call an ambulance during your show.
Just
That's
regurgitate
what
Bloody
you want, though.
Marys or
Because then you're
Kool-Aid.
going to get the press.
Yeah. Well, you know
Don't drink
that
the Kool-Aid, Dan.
you know that watermark effect. I think it's called watermark.
Yeah, by Matthew Beach.
Yeah. So do that, but with blood, and you'll be
Yeah.
fine.
It's funny because David Blaine did that on his special, but he didn't use blood. But he did watermark
Yeah,
in that
Oh.
way. On his
Wait.
special, he did that. He did watermark with the water spout.
Oh yeah, on the sidewalks. Yes.
That's right. Yeah. So there you go.
You just-
Blood.
What you want to do, Dan, is you want to go to your college, you want to set up a watermark, and just take a bottle of water and just, Dan was here, written, like there. You know, creepymandan.com, the website URL, just there. Unfortunately, that's not his real website. I'm thinking of buying that domain and just redirecting it to, like, I don't know, my website or something.
Great.
I think
Well-
that would just be the perfect name.
I mean, now that we're getting into names, those of you who have been following me as of lately know that my stage name in particular has changed very recently. I used to be Double MD, or Magic Man Dan, but lately I've changed that to Daniel Grimm when speaking with professionals in this field. And I really like that stage name much better, actually. The more it's growing on me, the more and more I like it. But Josh, I noticed that your stage name is essentially your name, right? Have you ever thought about stage name or anything like that?
Yeah, I've thought about dropping my first name and just being like Norbido, but I haven't really got to that point yet. And like I am always thinking of a way to name myself so that people remember me easier. Like that gentleman that I mentioned before, Matt Hollywood, I think he changed his name. I'm not 100% certain, but I think he changed his name to Hollywood so that it was Matt Hollywood, because so many people can tell me his name, like spectators, because it's just a catchy name. I have another friend named Mike Tyler. Oh, have you the Naked Magicians? I think they've hit New York already.
I've
Have
seen
you?
them everywhere, like adverts for them. I've heard of them, yeah.
Because they're coming to the UK as well. So right now they're on a huge tour of the US. They're still there right now, and I can't remember if they've hit New York already or if they're going to New York. But so one of them, and they're really good friends. Yeah, Naked Magicians. It's actually a hilarious show, and they are from Brisbane. They're my mates, and so one of the guys' name is Mike Tyler, but that's not his real last name. But he just became Mike Tyler Magic because it's so easy to remember that. So I've thought about it, but I haven't made a move on changing my name yet. And even JJ, like his name isn't JJ, his name is Joshua, and his last name starts with the J as well. So he's just gone J and J, you know, and he's become JJ.
I see.
I used to be HH Magic, but I rebranded that just to my full name because I think it's more professional, more simplistic than just HH Magic. I dropped that whole thing.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Now that I'm realizing like what's sort of happening. So, like people that are watching this now, like have probably just mainly see me from Free Magic Live and stuff. But I've been working a lot lately on speaking in regards to
Public
like
speaking.
Yeah, like team building speaking and keynote speaking, like that type of thing, different to magic. But I've been working on that a lot, still using magic. Like I use magic as my metaphor, and I just put up a video on my Facebook page only yesterday of an event that I did, giving that talk, and I always use magic. But in the speaking world, professional keynote speakers don't have names like the Wizard of Business Tom, or it's just their name, because that's just what they get branded as a professional. So I think knowing that has sort of helped me
Yeah, you mean you got like your
be
Tony
okay with
Robbins
keeping my name,
yeah,
right? Yeah, and
yeah,
so and the guy who's mentoring me with that, you guys may have heard of him. His name's Vin Yang, and
yeah.
he
That
used to
guy,
run
the Australian guy, yeah, of course,
Wait,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Vin
yeah.
is your mentor?
Yeah, he's my mentor for my speaking stuff.
Wow.
You know
Yeah,
Vin. You know Vin.
Yeah, I know Vin.
yeah.
Yeah, it used to be a
Magic,
long time
Art
ago
of
the
Magic or something.
Encyclopedia of Magic. Once upon a
Yeah,
time,
yeah, yeah. Encyclopedia
one
Magic.
in a land far, far away.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
Encyclopedia
Vin.
Magic. Yeah, awesome. So
After I listen to
now,
that guy, he pumps me up to the point where I can feel like I can crash through a wall. Like, he's really good at what he does. He's a really great motivational speaker. He's amazing.
isn't he? He's the best, and he's killing it too, doing it like he's doing very well. So yeah, so you know, Vin is that's great. So he's been helping me with my own style of that because it's essentially I go off on a different branch to what he talks about, but it's the same idea, right, of using magic as your metaphor to explain concepts in business. So yeah, so he's been helping me with that, which has been like I could not have asked for a better mentor to do what I'm setting out to do. So he's been immensely helpful. And so what was my point to that? Oh, my name. And he specifically said as well, like, because my website is not my name. My website is Mysterious Productions, which I just kept it that way in case I delved into different things other than just me. Like right now, like there's things on there like video production and stuff they can have at their event with magic. So it's sort of like leaves it open to later on it could become an agency where like I might be the face of it, but they can hire other people. I don't know. I just left it as their name, but Vin's very specific on branding your name. So he's like, you should start another website which is your name,
Yeah, I
and that
mean, I've
way it
got my
can just
name.
just be about speaking.
I got
Yeah,
harrisonhorton.com at the minute, and that's like my main thing. That's what I try and get people to remember and go there. But I am
nice.
tempted to buy like Magician Manchester, Magician London, and things like that. But the price and the cost involved with that sort of thing is extremely high.
Yeah,
So
it
I'm not
would.
sure how you go about that being memorable so that they remember your URL. Because they always spell my name wrong. So I'm thinking of buying the domain where they've spelt my name wrong as well and redirect it to the right spelling. Because I don't know how many people I'm missing because they're spelling my name incorrectly.
True. If it's a case of spelling your name incorrectly, then you probably should change your name. Like so what are they spelling wrong? Your last name?
So my name's
Or your,
harrisonhorton.com,
yeah.
and then they're spelling Harrison Horton, it's H-O-U, and they're spelling H-A-U-G-H-T-O-N instead of H-O-U-G-H-T-O-N. I don't know why, they just do it.
So
Everyone does it.
yeah, right. What comes to mind when you say that? Like I think if your stage name was just Harry H, I think people would remember that a lot easier. That's just what comes to mind when I think of like marketing wise, because that can be an issue if they can't spell your name.
Yeah.
So what people would probably do in that case is they would buy the domain names of all the incorrect way to spell it and then have it redirect to the one website. So that's what they would do. So however many ways people are stuffing up your last name, you would just buy that domain name and redirect it to your actual site. And you could have
Yeah,
something
that's what I'm
funny.
thinking of doing. Yeah.
You could actually take it a step further and being like, have a cover page first that says, you just spelt my name wrong. Luckily, I knew you do that, so here is my correct website. And then boom. That
I
would be
love that.
hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And in regards to like having the website domain name of like the area you're in and the magician, like New York magician or UK magician, over here there are people that have like the website of Australian magician or whatever, so that SEO can find it easier, right, on Google. But I find that doing that sort of dilutes your work as an artist. If you're just trying to be the best marketer, people aren't going to remember you. They're just going to remember they looked for a Brisbane magician. And
Yeah.
I follow a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk a lot. If you guys have
Oh
heard
yeah,
of him,
Gary. Yeah, Gary V. I follow him as
Gary
well.
V.
GC as well. Can't forget GC.
Yeah, and he talks a lot about legacy over currency. It's better to brand your name rather than just forget about it so you can get more money, like by diluting your brand. So I'm very much on the way of that sort of thinking. So I've always just kept it as one thing, and I use Google. I pay for Google AdWords to brand my name out there, but I don't just label myself as the Australian magician or the
That's
whatever.
something I've been interested in as well. Either Google AdWords or Facebook. But have you devilled with Facebook advertising? Because I see some adverts for you sometimes appear on my timeline. So I don't know how much experience you have in that. It seems that you use Google AdWords quite a lot. And does it convert? Because you have to mess around with the keywords quite a lot, don't you, and things like that, and
Yeah,
that sort of stuff.
Google AdWords is absolute gold. Definitely. Facebook I'd use if I'm promoting a show that I'm having, because then I can get it, you can target people. And I've used my Facebook advertising for my team building show that I do, and I can target sales teams, like people that work at sales jobs, and it will just show them. But I don't just pump out like hire me for your event ads on Facebook, because I think that's not what Facebook's really there for. So what's better to do is to produce good content with a little kicker at the end saying find out more at this website. And that way, by producing good content, that's better than saying hire me for your event and just pumping that out. So I don't use it in that aspect, but on Google AdWords, man, it is so great, because when people search hire a magician in your area, your name will come up in the top selection, right? And that way you have a better chance of getting their attention. But the thing is, you must have a good website. Like, it has to be great, because in the beginning I had a very basic website, which is fine, but it wasn't winning any work from Google AdWords, because Google AdWords means that no one's seen you already. It's okay to have a okay website.
You've got to have a ton of social proof with it, basically.
Yeah, that's right. If people have seen you perform, it doesn't matter if your website's bad, because you're not trying to sell them. You've already done that. But if they're on Google AdWords, they're going to look at 4 other people's sites. And I wasn't winning any work because mine was really basic. Vin was actually the guy to tell me. He went onto my website and said, you look like a $300 magician, which is fine, but that's all you're going to get, because your perceived value is X. So he told me what to do, and then I rebranded it and changed it. And now I would say that I get the majority of the work through Google AdWords. Like, I win a lot of the competition when people go and search, and look through the top 4. So provided your website is good, Google AdWords I would strongly recommend, because for what I pay in AdWords, I make back 1,000%. Like, it's just it works over here at least.
I will definitely invest in some training material for that and look into it, because I think it's going to be a good solution for me.
And to be fair, actually, that is a great way to get corporate work that you mentioned before we started the live stream. Definitely.
I am definitely going to look into that after this ends.
Yeah, so definitely get on that. I think if you've never used Google AdWords before, they give you a free $100 voucher to use, like the first time you sign up for it.
Yeah.
So you can literally start doing it straight away for free.
I think you have to deposit like a small amount, but you do get, as you said, so much extra for free.
Yeah, I think it might be like $10 or something.
Yeah.
But I would strongly recommend that. Yeah.
I will definitely look into that and experiment with it, because I think that's the way to go. But first I've got to check my website out, make sure that it's all accurate, because I think it's good, but what I think is good might not necessarily be what my clients think is good, and that is the important thing.
Yeah. If you want to know what a good website is, I always recommend looking at people who are really doing really well.
So people like Benji Bruce, people like that.
Okay.
Even
David Penn has a good website.
Yeah, he just updated his, actually. His website before that was horrendous. And then out of the blue, he just updated it and redid it all. Because I remember
Awesome.
his first website.
JJ's is very good as well.
What's that,
JJLive.com.
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 Okay.
His is good, like his corporate one.
Yeah.
So yeah, have a look at them, and send me your website. I'm happy to look at it as
Yeah,
well.
we'll do.
At
I'd
some
appreciate
point.
that. I'll send you that at the end.
And there's easy ways. So I use a website called Squarespace to build mine
Yeah.
because
I
it's
know that one.
very much
Yeah.
like you pick a template and you just drag and drop photos and stuff. It's just super easy.
Yeah. I use a similar system for mine, but I don't think it's Squarespace.
I've been so conditioned by Scam Spoil, I can almost swear you're about to give us a promo code for Squarespace.
Yeah, you use
it's-
code Josh at checkout.
You use code
to
Josh to get
15%
15% off.
Really, I don't watch Scam School like at all really. So do they promote Squarespace?
It's not just them. Like every like place for a while, either GoDaddy, Squarespace, Domain.com. It's all they ever promote.
Right. That's funny. No. If you want to hear me talk more about Squarespace, head to my mentoring program at blah blah blah.
There's the shameless plug, as it would be.
So why don't you
it's
tell
not shameless.
the viewers about the program? I think they'd be curious to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll talk a bit about it for sure. So yeah, I created this mentoring program, and the reason is creating all the Free Magic Live videos. We have to seriously look at what we put out there because it's really hard to put out an effect for free because a little part of your soul dies knowing that so many people now can learn it for free. And I am still, the magician side of me like wants to just take down the whole Free Magic Live channel. Like one part of me is like
paid Magic Live.
Yeah, like a part of me just wants to like just say, Jay, can we just like get rid of everything and the world will be better? Because then like people won't know it as easily. So one part of me is like that. Another part of me is that, well, if they're just intro-based effects to get people interested in magic, that's okay. So the videos that I've been involved with, at least, I try to make them interesting enough, but not things that I know I use professionally, or that like I don't want to teach things that are going to damage careers of magicians, right? But I have stuff that I really want to teach, and I see the comments of people saying, "Can you teach, different material? Can you teach more advanced things or whatever?" Which is a topic in itself. Like, as we know, it doesn't matter how difficult something is; it's how you perform it. But I understand what people are saying. So anyway, I wanted a platform to be able to do that. Now, JJ does have his own platform, which is Pro Magic Live, and while that is good, and if you're watching this, JJ, which I know you're not because you never bloody watch any social content, it's too marketable. It's too much of just like a product that's not personal. It's like you sign up for this, and every month you just automatically get some video that he spent, 3 months making to let it just happen, right?
Yeah, it's like an auto program thing.
Yeah, it's too much of just a buy and sell products. And while the effects are good, like don't get me wrong, I've watched all the videos and it is good. It's just that when I don't want to just teach people for the sake of getting money and just teaching like
You want to help them progress.
some stuff. Yeah, I like what we're doing now is awesome. Like I can talk about advice like all damn day. But yeah, so I'd rather be able to give sort of more exact advice and go on other tangents and things. So this program was designed so that I can be in the moment with people. So when they sign up, they get one video that's pre-recorded just so for the sake of getting something straight away. But then they get added to a secret Facebook group, and we discuss different topics as people ask questions. And I only put the videos up in real time. I only film them a few days before, so that it can be related to what people had been talking about in that previous week or so. And so it's just a bit of an easy way for me to actually, that's why I call it the mentoring program rather than the Learn Awesome Magic program. So at the moment it's just a small group of people, which is actually what I enjoy because I can still communicate with everyone singly. And that's sort of what it's about. It's sort of what's happening is it's creating a little community that just sort of help each other, and so far it's been really great. So anyone who's watching and is interested, you actually can't just go and get access to it. I've specifically kept it as a secret. So you need a password to even get to the invite because I don't want it to be a marketed thing. I want
Sign
it to
up
be
to our
like a
mailing list to find out the
yeah.
password.
That's right. I actually want to make sure that it's people who will at least take the time to ask me about it, so that you know that they're interested. So, and I think it's fun to have it as a secret thing. It's not like you can just Google search Josh's program and just boom, and no, you can't. So that's why you can only get, and like I'm not choosing people. It's just that I just want to be able to invite people myself or people that are in the program to be able to invite other people. I think it's just a more community-based way of doing it rather than just paying for advertising and pumping out the thing. So yes. So if anyone is wanting to look at it more, my website is mysteriousproductions.com, and there is a secret area tab. You'll have to email me to get info on it, so you'll have to sort of explain that you're a magician, whether you send me a video or whatnot, and then I can give you access to the viewing page, which then you sign up to. So there's that. Yes.
Go and sign up for his stuff. It's awesome, if you want to learn professional magic like me, Dan, and Joshua do, you need to go there. I will teach you the basics. I will teach you all the principles. But if you want to know in detail mastery, then you need to go to this guy, because I can't teach you in detail mastery, but I can teach you the foundationals. I can teach you the basics, and I can teach you how to take more action than you can even imagine. But I don't want to go into detail. I don't want to teach you all these little moves and slides, because it takes too long. So go to Josh instead.
Thank you. And that's just how we rehearsed it. Yes. And that's right. So yeah, so that's basically what it is. And also, when you do sign up, if you use the code SSpace, you'll actually get $10 off your Squarespace account when you sign up. So that's always a plus as well.
Guys, you don't
I love
make
you
any
actually
commission
played
on
along.
this.
Oh man, he actually played along with it. I love this.
Yes. That is a side note, by the way. When I'm performing at gigs, like so much of the reaction comes from when you do callbacks like that, like remarks that people have said, and you bring it full circle. I think that's what I enjoy the most now at events, is being in the moment and finding little funny things like that. Just absolutely makes the night. Like it just, especially in corporate work, people want to be entertained. So sometimes it's with really magical things, but sometimes they're not interested in magic. So you have to be really funny with your magic so that they enjoy like either an aspect of it. So yeah, a lot of the times I'm just messing around with just being stupid, being stuff like that. So I encourage you to do that as well. Improv, as they call it, right?
That's fantastic.
But seriously, sign up, or I'll never come on this stream again.
Yeah, we want you back, so go and sign up. We don't make any commission off this, sadly. But yeah, go and do it. And
But
also
anyway.
buy the Become a Magician DVD. Don't forget that. HarrisonHorton.com/DVD. Bargain. Go and get it.
Nice. Nicely done.
Moving on past the advertisement section.
Yeah, no, that's right. Now that the infomercials are
Annotation.
done, yeah.
Annotation to skip commercials. Click.
Please buy premium to skip.
That's right. And you guys learnt the French drop last week, so now you can actually do the French drop and produce a splash bottle gimmick. That's in next week's episode as well.
Ooh,
So
no, I don't think we can teach them that. That's too good. No, that's one of our premium secrets. That it's a premium. It's locked behind the sales page. I'm sorry.
That's true.
It's too good. They're gonna break too many bottles.
No, it's just to produce the actual splash gimmick.
Oh, how to make it appear.
Yes.
Okay then. And then in about
400
400 years, we're gonna actually teach you how to make a bottle appear.
Yeah. That's just a joke because David Stone at his magic lectures, instead of doing the balloon to wine bottle, he would do balloon to the actual gimmick as a joke. And then he would take the gimmick and split it into two, like what he would do with his shoes and stuff, usually.
And then just like make 100 of them like sponge balls.
Yeah, like honestly, David Stone is his lecture, which he did in 2004.
Is this his Penguin? Is this like available to view? Because I want to see this.
No, it's not. You can buy the DVD, I think. Now it's called
important.com/Stone. Go there now.
Yeah. So honestly, David Stone really set the path for me to learning the material that I use now. And the lecture, I could not believe he was lecturing in my city. So when I saw his lecture, honestly, hands down, the best lecture I've ever seen in my life. And also, it was a show for magicians, is what it was. It was just the funniest stuff I've ever seen. As well as being really informative. Like, he's such a technician, but holy crap. Like, he talks about how not to carry flash paper because one time it caught light. He used to keep it in his outside pocket, and it caught a light, and it burned his suit. And then later on in the show, he like opens his jacket, and you can see the hole in his shirt, like he's still wearing the same shirt. And just like his callbacks and stuff, it's great. It's really great.
That reminds me, I bought a DVD on how to store and use flash paper, which cost me, I think, £20. It was the best investment I ever made because I'm yet to burn myself because of it badly.
Wow. Well, that's good. I've never had a problem with it myself, but there was a magic shop in Sydney, and they had like $1,000. I think it was like they had $1,000 worth of flash paper in the store that was just, it hadn't been packed away yet, and some idiot found a way to light it accidentally and burnt the whole stash, right?
Wow.
And then the shopkeeper, then the guy who runs it came out and said, "What the hell? You owe me $1,000. You just burnt all my flash paper." And the guy looked at him and said, "What flash paper?"
The craziness.
I know.
Sorry for the shop owner.
So funny.
Story.
Let me see if I can
always keep packages.
See if I can do this under pressure.
Very well done.
Boom! First time, first try.
Wow.
Great.
Impressive.
Oh, thank you.
I know
Thank you very much.
a lot of people actually don't even do the flick properly. A lot of people, they do the bevel, like the one where you pull down instead of the actual flick, where it's like, well, a wire and cordage from the headphones, but it's like...
Dan has seemed to be frozen.
Me?
Oh no, he's back. No, you're back. You froze for a second.
Okay, let me know if I'm frozen. Let me know now.
Do you want to build a snowman?
No,
you're
thank
good.
you.
Okay. You're good.
Let me try this with half a deck. I think number one, the deck itself is, there we go. Okay. Yeah, when you have a deck that's as old as this, and yeah, I nailed it. You can use a little bit of cutting. Oh, hey, look! I found the quarter that made a cameo. Like,
I have a question for you,
at
actually.
the beginning of the episode.
Nice. Let me shove it in my eye.
Do you use bicycles or do you use Phoenix? Because there's a debate going on in the professional community on which are the superiors. And some people have asked me about this.
Well, me and Dan are both using bikes at the moment. It looks like.
Yeah.
I do have one friend that swears by Phoenix because the pips are a bit bigger, like on the aces or something, and he seems to like them a lot. But isn't that pretty nice?
Yeah,
that's great. Or we can do like the what's this thing called? Under pressure, I think.
Yeah, the pressure fan. Well,
something like that.
There's a move
called under pressure because it moves like. But anyway,
there's this thing called.
I think it looks clearer like this way, right? You can see it like.
Yeah, but there's a thing where you can do in the ambitious card routine where you like clench with your teeth the card as it goes through. You find their card.
Yeah, nice. Like Kayla Morelli, I think.
Yeah, that's the one.
Awesome. So yeah, the reality of it is there's a Costco down the road from me, so I just can buy these in enormous amounts, which is what I need because I go through a lot of decks.
That's handy
So
for you.
I'm
Because
more
there's
than
no
happy
Costco's
with these.
here. There's
Right,
no
that was
Costco near me. The Magic Shop is the only option, and that's again still quite a far drive. Meaning
right,
that
right.
everything is overpriced, sadly.
So over here, a deck of bikes, if you buy them in a brick of 13, it works out that one deck is only like $2 Australian, which is probably like £1 or something. So it's
That's
very,
really cheap.
very,
They're about £3 a pack over here.
yeah, which is about normal if you buy them singly over here.
You can't really
But
buy them in blocks of 13. I only ever see them in 12s. And
that's
that
probably what I
normally
meant to
costs
say.
about £20 to £25.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Just to
So there. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead and finish.
No, I meant Dan. Like, what were you going to say?
No, no, you, okay, well, okay. So I just wanted to let you know that a lot of how long a deck lasts also depends on weather, and I just learned this recently because, like I mentioned, the weather right now in New York is getting extremely hot lately, and humid especially. I think that's the point, the moisture in the air. This is a deck I literally opened last week. I just opened it last week, and I've only used it a couple times in performance, but it's the moisture that's in the air that you know
Wow.
gets to it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I often find that when I pull it out, it's like stuck together in a brick, and I have to really put pressure to try to spread it out again.
Wow. That's
So
crazy.
yeah.
I always keep my cards in a card clip to help with weather and stuff, especially if I'm traveling. And they seem to last longer if I do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just travel with it just like this, and seems to last a little longer. So when I use my normal deck, as they say.
Sorry, that was just
I
hilarious.
love that. I gotta use that. Do I have
Yeah.
permission to use that?
Please do. And the way I use it is I always bring the cards out, and people go, "Oh, are they trick cards?" I go, "No, it's a
No, they're
normal deck.
normal.
See, it says on the box."
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
No,
going
go
straight
for
into
it.
my act on Sunday.
Do it. It's funny. It's funny. It's better than using the line of you can buy them at any magic shop. It's funnier just
which
to
is
sort of
overused.
So- yeah. So there's that. Yeah, please use it. And going back to this thing you were talking about, Dan, as well, like the flicking thing. It's funny. I actually can't do this well. I can't do that very well. So, and I love acrobatic style. I love aerial stunts, and like I learnt. It took me a very long time, but I eventually learnt this one, which is like from Leonard Green, but I learnt to do it as a shootout rather than this thing, which is how he originally created it to be. So I learnt that one, and I also learnt the hot shot cut, and I can only do it this way when I do this pop out. But so I've learned all these things, but I can't bloody do it sideways. And sometimes when I practice enough, I can get it a little bit, but it's just I cannot get it consistent to where I'm comfortable using it, where someone's paid me to be there, you know? So, yes, it's interesting that you bring that up. Because I suck at doing it that way.
Oh, wait, show me your position with a hand when you're doing it. When you do it sideways.
So right now it's like this, which is like.
Okay, I see the problem, or some of them actually.
Yeah.
So what I do is I don't know why, but initially I think the creator he did it with the like devil horn type stance with the two fingers on the top and the pointer and pinky on the longer edge. But I found that it's a lot simpler if you have only the middle finger on the short end and the pointer finger and ring finger on the sides, because you have a lot more control to begin with. Also, you don't want to have the cards too close to the inside or too far away from your hand. I found that imagine like you're about to do a one-handed fan, something like that. You want to have it that type of distance from your hand. And when you do the flicking motion, let's see if I can turn my chair around to get the other angle. Oh, look, we're also teaching something else. We learned the muscle pass, now we're learning how to flick cards. You want to have your thumb all the way.
That will teach you how to give your friends a paper cut that you cannot imagine.
Let's see if I can do it this way. So essentially, you want your thumb to be all the way at the bottom. If you're a righty, then it's this way, and I have to turn my chair the other way. But essentially, you want to have your thumb all the way at the bottom, as close to your fingers as you can, and the flick is not necessarily up. It's more of a diagonal out. And I don't know if you've ever noticed when you were learning the spring, but the spring, even though it looks like it goes, like it's supposed to go one way, it's kind of going down at an angle. It's the same thing with the flick. When you do the spring, I don't know if you ever noticed, but the thumb dictates where the cards go. Even though logically you think they're going horizontally down, they actually go front or back depending on where the thumb is pointed. You also don't want to do this straight horizontally. Because the cards are going off at an angle, you might want to tilt the deck up just ever so slightly. And I think it's the same thing with when you do the flick off move with it this way. I think you also have to tilt the deck slightly. Same thing, you tilt it slightly, and again, with cards as moist as these and my finger, it's I gotta. You know what? I think I should get a better deck of cards so I can actually display this properly.
And you know what? After you just even explaining that you only use one finger in the middle instead of the two, I just surprised myself and just did it then. Like, let me just see if I can do it again. That is freaking amazing. Holy crap. I've never done that in my whole life, let me tell you.
There we go.
What the hell is happening? Oh my god, I am now doing it.
Yeah, see? There we go. See? Now that I have a better deck.
Oh my god. Oh, that was...
But I'm scared now because this is like a brand new deck. If I hold this out for too long, it's going to turn.
This is just blowing my mind now that I'm able to do this.
You wouldn't have been able to do this, Josh, if it wasn't for today.
I know. What the hell is going on?
It's the Magician's Friday look.
Wow, I just shot it like... Alright, don't worry about my mentoring program. Just subscribe to this stream every week and you learn like even more.
Yeah. And then get on the Magician installation system when it comes out.
Yeah. Well, Dan, I have to thank you then. That is just revolutionized my whole career of card stunts.
Yep.
See,
just send the check when you're, 6 figures.
Yeah. Wow, that is bloody crazy. Okay, so never mind. I can do all sorts of aerial stunts.
Yay!
Without drones.
No, it's like,
yeah.
I feel happy for you that you actually you got it. You got it down pat. Like I could see the fire in your eye when you learn something that you're like, wow, I can do this too now. It's like
You know why I wanted to learn it? Because Greg Wilson has a great thing of being able to shoot it and catch it in the deck, and he knows the two cards.
He did that at the convention. He did it live, and he didn't get it the first time. It took him like 10 attempts to do it. I don't know if he was milking it, but...
True. Well, he did that, and I've always wanted to do this shootout for that purpose. So, thank you. Because I did learn doing it this way and catching it in the deck. Let me see if I can do it first time. Boom, first time. And so I spent a long time learning that way, but you can't actually make it land in the cards you're naming like you can with this way. You can only then change, like do that move, which I won't name, but it lets you show that they've landed in where you have said they would land. So, but this way is much cooler. Boom, I'm so happy. What the hell is going on here? Okay.
I'm glad.
That's cool. Thank you.
Very much.
Standing ovation right here. You can't see, but you're getting a standing ovation from me. Don't
You're
be
in the
using that on your
dark.
promo footage yet, though.
No, that's right. No.
No ripping that as a testimonial.
Standing ovation all the way from the UK to Australia.
Yes. Unless you let me rip, cut and paste where you said that was the best lecture I ever seen, and use that in my promotional material when you were actually talking about David Stone. Maybe then I'll let you.
True. Yeah, whatever helps you.
is there anyone still watching? And have you got any questions?
Yeah, this is probably the longest that the stream has ever been.
But we
I don't
want
think
to
we've
package
Yeah, I
it as
realised
value
this
as
long.
possible.
I've realized, yeah, we have been talking for a while. I think I've been doing most of the talking.
Oh, that's fine. That's one of the
Hopefully.
beauties of having a guest on board, because you are able to contribute something we are unable to, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
The
Right.
advice and value you've given is
I mean,
so
look-
unbelievable.
That's true. What you have taught us and what we've learned from you during the stream so far is something that we never would have known otherwise, and is immense in amount.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad.
So,
One tip I'll add, just in case anyone's still watching, if anyone likes to do restaurant magic, what I mean by that is that they want to get like a residency where they get to perform there every week. Because there is a place that I'm contracted for the entire year. Every Thursday, I'm booked out the whole year for this one place, and it certainly helps with, it helps fuel the full-time career as a magician, knowing that you can already pay for your bills because you have a set thing every week, right? And so the way that I got it was actually that I was selling Svengali decks at markets, Sunday markets, and it just so happened that I would perform magic, and I would go, oh, by the way, you can buy this thing. And it just so happened that the receptionist from this place saw me and gave my card to the marketing manager, and that at least got me like a trial at this place. But what actually got me to landing it and other residencies I've had in the past, it's not a new tip, it's just a tip that I had never heard before, and it's so simple. When you get booked for a restaurant and it's something that you want to do regularly, the owner doesn't get to watch you perform the magic. So while you've got the best reactions from everyone, the owner doesn't know. They don't see any difference on their profit and loss statement at the end of the night, so they can't tell. But what I got told to do was to make sure they know is when you perform at the table, and of course everyone claps and they love it, you just simply say to them, if you enjoyed the magic,
Tell the manager.
please feel free to let the staff know you enjoyed it, because they don't get to watch. And I'd love to come back here. And it's so simple, it's nothing. And I've heard other professional magicians say it, but when I started doing that, the venue manager went from not knowing I was even there to now getting smashed by 20 people. Like every 3 minutes, they would have people coming up to them saying, man, that magician's really good. Oh my God, you have that magician back. That was the best magician I've ever seen. The magician was so good. You can imagine that now they're going to keep you because like they've never had people come and tell them about anything that good in their restaurant. And just from doing that, like even though the people enjoyed it the same amount, but now you've sort of cued them to let the staff know, that has landed me like every residency that I've ever like tried for because of that. So what you would do is you would just say, can I give my time for free for this one night? And then you use that tip, and then the venue sees exactly how valuable you are. So the residency that I work at the moment, this is my second year of performing there every week for 2 years, and I still use that tip a few times a night so that they keep getting reminded of my work. Because there was this one residency where I was not the only person trialing. I was not the only magician trialing this place, but because the other magician, where he still had the same skill as me, didn't use that tip, it looked like to the venue that this guy, which was me, was freaking amazing because everyone kept saying how good he was, and this guy had no one come up and say how good he was.
Yeah.
Even though we did the same, everyone still loved it the same. Yeah, so if I could add any tip, it would be that. And that works for corporate as well.
Yeah, because you always
the
hear in
hosts-
testimonials that they're always saying they're coming up to me and saying how amazed they were, and that's what they
exactly.
want to
And
hear.
especially at corporate events, if you say to them, because the host they're always too busy. So if you say to people, like, feel free to let the host know you enjoyed it because I'd love to come back next year, people are always looking for stuff to complement the host on. So if you've just now given them something and said that, you know, the magician was excellent, then they're probably going to get you back next year. So, yeah, the power of asking for that is just the difference between doing magic on a weekend and having so much work you can't know what to do with it. So just that little 1% can make such a difference, I think.
Speaking about next year, how do you follow up with your clients?
What I do, I just got to keep an eye on the time too. I think I'll probably have to go in like 10 minutes. You guys are cool with that?
No problem.
This has been awesome too. Following up with clients. So what I do is after I book them, I've done the event. I'll always email like a thank you, and then I will every 3 months I email them something like a new video that I've done, something interesting that adds some value to them, and that way it just keeps on top of mind. And because of course on MailChimp it lets you know who's opened it, who's viewed it, who's clicked on the link. A lot of the time people don't even click on the link, but they see my name. So when it comes to the end of year Christmas events and stuff, just by me sending that email, they'll reply to it going, hey, actually that reminds me we have an event coming up in December and I wanted to check if you're available. Like the amount of times that's happened is just too many to ignore. So I always keep in mind, on top of mind with them. If it's a client that I really want to work with again, like if it's the venue itself that recommended me, I will send them like a client gift after the event to say thank you. So that way it's a lot more personable than just an email. Like I'll send them.
What gift would you send them? Oh, yeah, you're just gonna tell me.
Yeah. So you read my mind. Sometimes if I don't know the person, I'll just send them like a gift voucher for like movies or something, like to go to the cinema. But now what I do is I'll research them. Like I'll look their name up on Facebook or something and just look at what their interests are. And I'll send them something to do with that. Like if I can see that they love a certain football team, I'll send them a football-orientated thing. Or the last one I sent was this venue in a different city recommended me because I met them like a year ago at this thing where everyone displays like what entertainment they provide and stuff, and you sort of they look at it like an expo. Yeah, so I sent her, I could only see that she had just had a child and she has a family and stuff, so I just sent her like these wooden sculpted salt and pepper shakers made from like wooden eggs, and they sit in like this wooden like egg container, like little egg carton thing. So I would just send things like that, and that way it's just because no one does that, you know. So and now I work with them a lot because I just went that sort of extra step. So that's what I do. Yeah, and I try and if you can become friends with your clients, then because people want to work with their friends. People want to do business with their friends, and even if you charge more or you're a little harder to arrange, if you're friends with them, they still want to work with you. Because the quote, the business book that I learned that from, the storyline goes, in a world where things are
What book is it?
It's called The Little Red Book of Selling, is what it's called.
Okay.
The Little Red Book of Selling. It's the best selling book if you want to learn, because in show business you have the show, which you're good at, but the business side is even more important to do it as a full-time thing. And it basically says, like, in a world where things are equal, people want to do business with their friends. So if you have two office supply stores the same distance, but you know this person, you'll go here. But then the second part is, in a world where things aren't quite so equal, people will still want to do business with their friends. So now the other supply store is is closer to them and cheaper, but they know you so well that you'll provide value that they'll still drive the extra mile and pay the extra 20 cents to get this. And so the moral of the story is, if you can book a gig, you'll get paid for it, but if you can make a friend, then you'll earn a fortune. That's sort of like to bring it full circle. So yeah, that's my little theory on life.
Awesome.
Very
I'm
interesting.
just wondering
Yeah.
two particular things, two last things that I wanted to touch upon. One of them, quite personally, I was wondering is when you uh, offer to work for a particular restaurant or venue, more restaurants than anything else. How do you choose which restaurants? You just walk up and down the street or look in your general area and pick from one of those that you think you would look good in? How does that process go in
Mm.
choosing a restaurant?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I think the reason for being at a restaurant in the first place is so you can get seen by more people to get work from those people. So I always look at what people are going there, and also if it's a nice place that I would want to be associated with. Like if it's a McDonald's, it's probably not going to give off a good corporate vibe, right?
So
So
you want the really
yeah, I
like
always
the
look at
fine dining sort of stuff.
exactly. Like for example, there's a restaurant that I'm targeting at the moment. I'm really trying to get in with them because there's a very rich area at the Gold Coast of Brisbane, and it's like everyone that lives there like owns a boat and stuff. Like just off from the restaurant, there's like a yacht. There's like a boat thing where everyone can like park their bloody boats and then go up and go to this place. So I'm there because my girlfriend does a lot of modeling and stuff, and she was doing this runway show, which is like the entertainment for this other restaurant that's like they do all this weird sort of stuff. Anyway, I'm sitting on a park bench looking at the water, waiting for her to finish. There's a whole nice row of like restaurants, but there's one in particular that's really it's perfectly lit for doing haunted deck and that sort of thing, if you know what I'm talking about, and it's just a really nice environment. So I'm sitting outside the venue. I've just eaten there, and it was great, and I gave them my business card by just producing. I wasn't even thinking. I think I just did like that. I was like, let me give you my card, and they're like, oh, wow, and whatever. And I was sitting on the park bench, and these kids walked by, and you know how like when you know someone's watching you, you can just do like if you do this, in the distance someone will see that, and you can tell when they're now watching you. So the story was this. I ate dinner, and I was like, that could be fun to do magic in. I walked outside, I did a spring, and because I knew these kids were watching, and I said, let me show you some magic. I showed them some magic, and they're freaking out. They've never seen magic before, and they call their parents over. And the parents come over, and I show them magic, and they're like, holy crap, and there was these two mothers, and they call their husbands over. Meanwhile, one of the husbands has gone off to get his golf buggy so they can drive it back to their boat. And I'm doing magic, and then at the end, they're like, oh, thanks for showing us that. And the husband gives me $50 for doing magic for this 5 minutes while I'm sitting on a park bench. And that just showed me that because the one residency that I have at the moment, because I get paid a lot to be there, I don't really ask for tips and stuff, but sometimes people will tip me like $5 or something. Whereas this place, they're tipping $50 because it's a different area. And I was like, holy crap, like if that's the kind of people that are here, like they're not going to mind paying my fee to book me and stuff, so I need to be at this place. Even if the whole time I'm at this residency they don't pay me, I don't care because the right people are here. So that happened, and it was just so serendipitous. Oh, I can't even say the word now, I'm so excited, but it was just so perfect because I was like, I should be here. This looks like a great area. And then I do magic for 5 minutes, and they give me $50. I'm like, geez. So, yeah, you need to look at what kind of area you're in, like what kind of people you're attracting to your work. Like if you're working a lot of colleges, you want to be around college people. You don't want to be around corporate people if that's not your market you're trying to target. So that's what I found.
That is certainly fascinating. I'm tempted to go and date crash a local restaurant of my own and just start performing.
You should. Yeah, do it, and then see what happens. Yeah. And before I go, was there another question that you had before I go?
It's just I wanted to end this on a bright note and a happy note. So I was going to wonder and ask, are there any crazy stories that you have about your experiences in Magic. Maybe crazy reactions, crazy things that have happened. Anything insane that is memorable to you.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, there's one, and then there's one that was more recent. They're not too insane, but they stand out to me. One was I went to Africa in 2014 and got to do magic there, and they're very spiritual people, and they don't see magic. So doing magic there is something. So they started calling me Dynamo over there because they had seen Dynamo on TV. And we were staying at a relative's house to my girlfriend. So every morning, people would be banging on the garage, like the gate door, asking for Dynamo. And it just sort of like encouraged me to do like magic, like more magic related things, because I just like they're sort of feeding me to do that, because that's the stuff that they're like freaking out the most, like that fire thing and just things like of that nature, more magical looking things. And so that was really crazy. The whole town knew about me within like 3 days, and I was like a little celebrity there for the time I was there. And I did make a video on my YouTube account called Magic in Africa or something like that of my time there. So that was pretty cool. The second story happened only 2 weeks ago, and I remember it because it's never happened to me before, but I was performing a routine where it's all about synchronizing two people's minds, and I always love doing it if it's like a brother and sister or a twin even, or at least friends who have known each other for a while. So what I do is first I do that hypnotism induction test where you do this thing, right, and the fingers close together at the same time. That you close this one's fingers and this one joins them at the same time. And so I did that, and then I do a piece of card magic where they can find each other's cards just by naming cards, and they can name the same card that they thought of, and etc. And it's really great. But then I end with, like with PK touch, a sequence of that basically, where now I'm touching this person and they're feeling it, and then you're touching their nose and they feel it. But when I did it, this one girl bursted out in tears, like proper tears, like proper crying of excitement. It wasn't that she was like freaked out. She was so happy that she just had tears bursting out of her, like so much so that like it just caught so much attention from everyone around, and we had to stop. Like we just had to stop because she was crying so badly, and her friends are like telling her to stop, and she's like, I can't help it. I just can't believe that no one touched you, and she's just tearing up and crying, and I'm like, oh my god. And meanwhile, like her boyfriend's sitting right next to her. I'm like, I didn't touch her. I didn't do anything. She's just crying because she, was overwhelmed. So, and that was like the most I've ever really affected someone, like on an emotional level, other than I'm entertained. Like that really hit some other kind of level. Which is just really, really crazy for me. So, and I know now that she'll remember that for the rest of her life because it hit that emotion. Because people don't always remember what you did, but they always remember how you made them feel. So that was pretty cool. A pretty cool feeling, at least, to know that I was able to make someone cry from joy of like seeing this piece of art. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That is such a coincidence. It's an amusing story, I feel like many things similar to that have happened to me. But, not to a point where they were crying their eyes out. But,
yeah.
It's a great way to end. It's a high.
Yes.
It's been fantastic having you on here, and we really appreciate, you investing your time in such a small, sort of, not as well known, for example, as Free Magic Live YouTube channel and community. So I do really appreciate that.
Guys, any time. Like, I love sharing what I can with you guys and the community, Magic community, and I hope some Free Magic Live fans do now start watching you guys as well afterwards, I can see on the Facebook Live page that a few people have liked the link, so hopefully, you guys get some value of it after today as well. So anytime I can help, guys, happy to. And I'm sure this won't be the last time I'm on here. I'm happy to come
That's
back
good to
again in
hear.
the future. So yeah,
We'll-
no,
we'll-
I
we'll-
had a great time, guys.
All right, so next
tuned
time
for
we'll be
the
teaching
10-hour
you how
live
to
stream coming
levitate a
soon.
card between your hands. In aerial, in the sky.
How to make
Yes,
Fred appear from nowhere and
Red
then
appear.
levitate a card with it. Perhaps.
Yeah, to make a 12-foot long breadstick appear out of your hand.
Mm,
Yes.
sounds yummy.
Out of your nose. Out of your nose, I think that will be better.
Out of your nose. Okay, that'll work.
Yes.
I'll just end with this. I'll show them this to end with. So this is a 50-cent Australian coin. It's a collector's coin. And it looks like I'm coming on the front screen of mine. Yes.
You're presenting, yes.
Okay, great. So it looks like this. Gone. There we go. Goes back. Boom. And that is magic.
Boom.
Right.
Awesome.
My name has been Harrison Horton.
I have been Double MD. Well, actually, Daniel Grimm. Still isn't in front of me.
You need to get it right, man.
All right, let's try this again. We'll try this again. Here we go.
Get it right this time. You only got one take.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
My name has been
So I-
Harrison
Damn it.
Horton.com.
All right, I've been Daniel
We'll do
Grimm.
it again, it's fine. It's
Oh, and Josh, you get to go after me, right? Right? You got to sign out with
Okay,
us.
gotcha.
All right, we need to sign out together. All right, from the top. Here we go.
the
Harrison,
cringe.
let's go.
This is the end. The beginning of the end.
Come on.
I've been Harrison Horton.
I've been
.com.
Double MD.
I've been Josh
Bye-bye.
Norbido.
All right, see you guys later.